Alrighty, Jason, we are not far off starting what is going to be an amazing matchup between Na'Vi and Spirit. But before we dive into that, before we get going with it, I would rather talk a little bit about the beginning of 25, because I think a lot has happened already. Obviously, we saw the tournaments kicking off in Copenhagen. We then came into IEM Katowice. And without talking too much about Na'Vi and Spirit, because they're going to play in just a moment, there's also been a couple of teams who haven't had the best start to the year so far. So if you were to pick one team that has disappointed you, who would that be?
You know, I don't know. There's a lot of places to go with it. I would say one, I guess, that is disappointing, but I don't quite know why, is just the phase, the phase lack of getting to the playoffs, because I still think it looked pretty good. I think you can see where it's going to go. Elige looks comfortable on that team. Everything seemed positive, but just the disappointment in them not being in the playoffs is like, it's weird. It's weird to not have them here because I feel like they're good enough to be on this stage and compete. Just didn't click this tournament for whatever reason.
Now, I spoke to Kerrigan in Copenhagen, and he said it almost felt like they were changing two players just by bringing in Elige, because there was such a big change in positions and voice within the team. Are you surprised that it's taking a little more time to gel than what people initially may have expected?
No, because I think when you get into a team as a player like Elige, with the plays you like to make and the aggression you like to make and the individual freedom you like to have, you're going to cause a little bit of chaos when any team you join, right? People have to get used to what plays you want to make, what timings you want to hit, how aggressive and assertive you want to be in different situations. So yeah, that's going to take a lot of conversations, a lot of kind of working together to see what the different solutions can be. And I think that's probably the biggest issue is maybe some of those timings of when Elige likes to make the play and how the rest of the team is going to work around it.
And I think that's going to be a big change, right? Coming by Cologne, that's when we expect to see FaZe in a playoff.
Yeah, I actually have no worries at the moment for FaZe moving into the future. I don't think there's any reason to have alarm bells just yet. Let's see what they're going to look like into the future. I guess another team that you're going to put in the same vein, a little bit disappointed in, would be the Liquid side of things. I also think Liquid is a team that's going to be good and challenging for playoff stages. I think they encountered some difficulties they didn't expect. I think they had to trim their playbook way down beyond what they initially thought they would have to with Natus' acquisition. But again, another move that he immediately had great impact for this team, yet they still don't make the playoffs. And you're like, what was the element that was missing? What was the factor that could have gotten them onto the stage?
And that begs the question for me to ask you, do you think Twist is the right in-game leader for Team Liquid to take that extra step, or should you go out there and look for something else? You look like a guy like Shuhei, there's maybe other options out there. Would it be great to have Twist back as a fragger and then get a new in-game leader?
You're really putting me on the spot here. I can hear us in the arena as I'm saying this in front of all these people. You know what? I don't know the proper way to go. I think that's a question that has to be decided within the team and how confident they are with Twist's in-game leadership. It's a long journey that he's kind of embarked upon. If he wants to stick into this role, there's going to be bumps. So as long as the team and the organization has that faith that he can figure it out and that he's still on a good path for it, I think it's okay. I don't think you're ever going to get, at least in the near future, any kind of crazy, complex, deep tactical depth to it. But that's fine. Look what they did in the game against Spirit that got them eliminated. They ran 3 really simple strategies on Nuke and put up, what, like 6-7 rounds on the T side. So it's doable with the pieces they have. And I actually think in some sense, if you're going to make a roster change, if you're Liquid at some point, firepower is the name of the game right now. Firepower seems to be the name of the game that everyone's chasing after. Yeah, it's always nice to have that big brain in-game leader, but if you don't feel like it's a good fit, firepower is the other route to take.
You say firepower, and I instantly think G2. I think G2 have a lot of firepower. At this tournament, we saw some of that firepower being displayed as well, but the big question mark is, of course, Snax, the impact he can as an in-game leader, and then Heavy Guard being integrated into the lineup. What's your temperature check on G2?
I love Heavy God. I think Heavy God's awesome. I think his versatility has been great. I think he's a really fun player to watch, plays those anchor positions really well. I think the biggest X factor you're missing now is the intangibles that Nico brought to the table. Because Mobs can come in and handle those positions as an individual player, but I think what you're lacking is that kind of meta understanding of what's happening around the map and how your individual play in that moment might be able to impact it or change it. And, you know, if Nico's going to make a play, or if Nico senses a weakness on a map, he's going to make that play and organize the team around him. I don't think Mobs has that quality just yet. And this isn't a criticism, it's something you have to build and develop within that team, but that is certainly an element they're missing, is in that mid-round having your star player, who was Nico, who's able to kind of find the solution and organize everyone towards that goal. Mobs hopefully develops that.
G2 will always be one of those teams we're excited to see play, and they always have the opportunity to step up with the individual skill. Now, a team I don't expect to be at any big playoffs for the foreseeable future is Astralis. And is there anything you can add to that? We've seen them play a couple of tournaments now. We see Device returning to the lineup. Have you, as me, lost faith in that project as well?
I think lost faith is maybe the wrong phrasing. I'd never really had a whole lot of faith in it, to be honest with you. I think that's like an amalgamation of different things. Again, you have another team where the names of the roster change looks awesome, but you have a lot of changes. You have KD and now in-game leading off the AWPs, now rifling, Device on the op, where previously it was opping an IGL. So you have that switch up. We know how difficult that can be. And then I think at the end of it all, the crux of that Astralis team is always going to be: is Stown the star player that you want him to be? Is he the star player that you expect and that you need him for this Astralis project to work? And that, for me, is going to be the big deciding factor. Does Stown take the next step, or does he kind of stay where he is now, and we sort of have the Astralis we have now?
Now, is there any other team that you are excited to see develop? We spoke about FaZe, Liquid, Astralis. Is there any team out there you think that has the potential to take that extra step up and pull off a Mongols or pull off a VP for that matter?
For that matter, I mean, it's funny you said that. I actually think VP has the next one. I actually really enjoyed what I saw of VP with Flamus in the lineup. Obviously, the playoff game, the quarterfinals yesterday didn't go at all what they planned at whatsoever. But I think when you look at the, we could feel it was palpable, like the attitude change within that Virtus Pro lineup at this event. So you give Electronic, he's secured that in-game leadership. He's the only one with the hands on the wheel on that team, which is a great change from last year. You give him a little bit more time to see what this can develop into. You've got those young players stepping up. I really like Icy as an opper. I think there's a lot of potential in this VP lineup. And then I guess the next one that I would say is as a team that could maybe do something in the future. I don't know. I was going to actually say Mongols and Eternal Fire are kind of the two teams that are still there in my mind. I think what's fun about it is, like, you look at this Mongols team. I don't know why I just gestured back. You look at the Mongols team that just got eliminated, but over this rise they've had in the past year and a half, it feels like every step of the way they've hit a barrier, and they surprise us by breaking through that barrier. So I think now we see that they finally won a stage game yesterday against Eternal Fire, get a second one here on the biggest of stages. This is another barrier they're hitting. And the question is always going to be, can they find a way to break through this one? Because in the past, the solution has been go back to Mongolia, find an upgrade, train them up, and then that's the guy who activates us getting through to that next level. But how many more pieces are you going to find in Mongolia that can compete on this level? Like, how you're not just going to go back and just find some random guy and spend the next 6 months kind of tuning him up and bring him up to speed and then saying, now we're ready to hit it. So I'm really intrigued if they can find a solution without any kind of a roster change. And that's the most interesting part of the Mongols for me.
And to me, that begs the question, and same could be applied for EF. Are we not satisfied with them being a top 4, top 5, top 6 team? I feel the conversation is always that everyone wants to win trophies and everyone wants to be the best team in the world. But realistically, there's only a couple of teams who can be the best in the world. So if you're the Mongols right now, you go into a semi-final, you're EF, you go into a final in Copenhagen, you get into the playoff here. Isn't that a pretty good benchmark already?
It absolutely is. But I mean, look, we are at a competition, and winning is the only true thing that matters at the end of the day. And if you don't lift that trophy, you lost. And that's kind of the unfortunate side of competition. For me, I think of, it's kind of like this Vitality team that we had last year in 2024, where they only won one trophy, but they're always among the world's best, and they're always challenging for that trophy. While Eternal Fire and the Mongols might play good enough to be among the best teams, we don't go into an event and say this team really feels like they have a great chance at winning the trophy. So it's not about being like the top #1 team, top #2 team, but you need to give us the feeling that you can actually make the run and you can actually get over the hump and you can actually hoist the trophy at the end of the day. And with those teams yet, despite how good they are and placing them in the top 6, 7 teams in the world, I don't necessarily feel like they are fighting for that trophy each and every event.
Now, speaking of teams that can hoist the trophy, we have Vitality confirmed for the grand final already. You saw them play the semi-final as well. Manhandling the Mongols have been looking great so far this tournament. Now, we don't know who's going to win between Na'Vi and Spirit, but what would you say that Vitality's chances are in this grand final at IEM Katowice? It's a best of 5 as well.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think a decent chances. They're going to go into it underdogs against no matter who. Spirit is #1 and 2, so you're always going to go into that matchup as an underdog. I think when you have ZywOo, you always have a better fighting chance, obviously, as well. It was cool to see him kind of step up and flex and put his chest out today against the Mongols to make sure nothing got out of control. I think the map pool is probably going to be the hardest thing for him with Rop's acquisition, is changing on the various maps. We know Na'Vi didn't make any roster changes. Alexi's come out and said their priority is deepening the map pool. Spirit has essentially 6, 7 map pool. Like, you look at these teams and that's going to be the biggest obstacle for Vitality. But I love Apex on stages. He always comes to play. This team is incredible. Mezzi's playing really well right now. ZywOo is always going to be an X factor. Rop's solid on this. Like, they brought him in for this purpose. So, I mean, you have so many good pieces if you're Vitality. It's, are you ready? Is it too early for you to vie for this trophy?
And considering it's a best of 5 final as well, well. It begs the question to ask you. I think back in the days we had a conversation whether a best of 5 should be for the grand finals, if it was too long, too short. With MR12, I feel like that conversation died down.
Yes.
Would you agree with that? A best of 5 grand final for a big tournament, that's only in its place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, the MR12 thing changed the nature of the best of 5 argument. I think it's beautiful because, look, let's be realistic about it as well. We talk about it all the time in Destin leading into matchups. The map veto process and your kind of map pool is an important element to any team being able to actually succeed, especially in periods like we have right now where a new map has entered the pool, where Train's going to be there and nobody's quite figured it out quite yet. We know every time there's been a new map, there's been one team who's latched onto it early and used it as such a strength. So map pool is always going to be a huge thing, and best of 5s test that in a way that a best of 3 can.
Now, we touched a lot of different teams, Jason, and I want to put you on the spot one more time.
All right, great.
You know,
yeah.
putting on the long glasses, the long sight.
Sure.
We have the major coming up in Austin as well. We have a lot of teams making roster changes, a lot of teams changing up how they play, how they think about the game, and I think the level of Counter-Strike we've seen at Katowice has been high, but I expect it to be better and better and better. So if you on the spot right now would have to pick a team that you think are going into the Austin major as one of the clear-cut favorites, and you cannot say Na'Vi, you cannot say Spirit, who would that be?
By the time we get to Austin, I'm gonna say FaZe. I think they're gonna figure out with Elige. I think for me, Elige is one of those players who's had some ups and downs in his career, but he should be a player that we're talking about as one of the best riflers of all time. And I think when he gets acclimated and they figure out how to work with each other a little bit better and learn how each other's styles can work together, I think that FaZe team should be powering up just perfect. And we know they're a team that already has that mental game and that toughness to never give up in a game, to always come back, to always force overtime. They have all the qualities of champions, and now you have a player that's been desperate to prove it for years.
I appreciate it, Jason. Always a lot of great insight. We are just about ready to get the Na'Vi versus Spirit game semi-final on the way. But before that, we have a bit of a vibe check to get it all started.
Are you giving me a high five or what was it? Sorry, misread it. That was awkward. Hello, JL. Welcome to the Spodek.
Yo!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Sorry, yeah, it's just staying awkward. No, you said after the group stage match versus Spirit, which was unbelievable, you said, this is great, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is when we play them in the playoffs. So how ready are you?
Oh, 100%. We've been preparing for more than a couple of days. Even though they weren't in the semifinals yet, we were already prepared for them because BP were wounded. They were playing with a stand-in, so it was quite obvious we're going to face Spirit. And I'm super happy we are.
Yeah, I think everybody understands that you thought that they were going to be your opponent. Now, Spirit is a team that when they do suffer losses, they adjust quickly, right? And that means you have to kind of triple adjust as well. What do you feel were the standout things about your performance, and are they easily replicable when it comes to this semifinal?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think we had a lot of great individual performances, so we beat them as a team. Of course, it was to little margins, but a team cannot change how they play in a couple of days, maybe in months, because it's the style that we counter. It's not the certain rounds. So we'll see what they cooked up. Of course, they're going to have some new rounds, some new strats, but yeah, I'm hoping for a good game today.
We'll see. At the beginning of this year, there were talks about how you guys got frustrated a lot in big games at the end of the year. It was kind of a trend. Is there a fear that that might happen because you haven't played on this stage yet? And is there anything in place to make sure that that definitely doesn't happen right now?
No, we're coming in fresh. It's our first game in the arena this year. We're super happy. First time in the Spodek as well. I've heard the crowd is going nuts. And yeah, all I can say is Polska Góra. And I just want them to be as loud as they can because I've heard many great things about them.
I'm sure they will be. Thank you.
Tonight, we go full circle on a rivalry that began a year ago in this very event, IEM Katowice, where Spirit and Na'Vi first took each other on with these new rosters. Spirit may have had the edge all year as they won numerous times against this Na'Vi roster, but the tide is beginning to change, and Na'Vi took them down in the group stage. Today, we wait to see if Lightning can strike twice and if Na'Vi can vanquish Spirit in this semi-final.
And I mean, such a good rivalry has to have some pretty big stakes, right? The Intel Grand Slam playing into this now. Na'Vi, 2 notches on their belt already. They've got a bunch of chances still to claim them, but a winning Katowice would leave them only 1 trophy away from claiming that Intel Grand Slam, and that's a must-have for any team with the pedigree of Na'Vi. I think this is going to be an absolutely banging semi-final. This is the big one. I'm going to give it back over to Shocks at the desk to talk about it some more.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and hello Spodek. Welcome to Na'Vi versus Spirit. My name is Shocks, and I'm joined here by a change of the guard in analyst as well as in host with Moses and with Pimp. And I think we can take a temperature check beforehand. This should be insane. We knew the sparks, we saw the sparks rather in the studio, and we already saw this game, Pimp, but this should be 10 times better even.
Yeah, I mean, the scene is pretty much set already. You have the best team to end 2024 going up against the best team of 2024, and you have a team that's played a lot against each other throughout last year, but also this year so far. So you speak of emotions, you speak of tenacity, you speak of teams that know each other. It should be a great game and definitely a great matchup between 2 of the best teams Counter-Strike have to offer as of right now.
I mean, realistically, the easiest way to put this is the best matchup in Counter-Strike. This is the best matchup you can possibly get, especially inside of an arena of this caliber with this kind of history behind it. This is the exact teams you want to see going up against each other. And yeah, they played each other a ton over the last year, but this is just this year. And already a close affair in the group stage, overtime on Nuke. These teams can go different ways in the map veto. Everything about this game is mind games and special between the 2 of them because everything is a challenge.
It's going to be layers on layers on layers when we get into this one. So let's harken our mind rather back to the match we saw from them in the studio here in Katowice, because I want to know, is that something we should now be prepared for? What is replicable for Na'Vi? Because they have a hard time beating them generally, so something must have been, Moses, fundamentally different.
Yeah, something was a little bit different in the sense that it probably meant so much as well for Na'Vi, but when you take that many losses time after time, it obviously just feels like you can never overcome them. Alexi B even said in an interview how much work had to go into them actually winning this game, and it's a grind, it's a brawl. When you play this many times, you know so much about your opposition, so it's like, yeah, what's replicable? So much stuff because you're playing so many different mind games, but Spirit's always going to be trying to counter you. Na'Vi's already going to try to counter you. They know what's coming. They know how you react. So you do kind of have to play 2 steps ahead.
And I love that you bring up the mental aspect, because that's something I noticed when they were playing in Copenhagen in the first game. Na'Vi seemed flustered, they seemed frustrated, a lot of desk slams, a lot of frustrations were coming out of the Na'Vi camp when they were playing against Spirit, whereas when I saw them in the studio in Katowice, it felt like they most surely had had a conversation about that. They're way more calm, they were able to fight their way back into the game, and they were able to keep their nerves. One thing is doing that in a studio, another thing is doing that inside an arena when everything is at stake as well. So for you guys at home, look out for the body language, look out for how they conduct themselves, look out for how they mentally stay within the game, regardless of what's happening. That's going to be a game within the game between these 2 teams.
It's true, and JL said it there. This is our very first time in the arena in this year. Those are all factors that come to play, even if you have even won big trophies on these stages. Something that was really interesting to me in that Spirit match was the way that Blade was talking to Alexi, that relationship those 2 have. And we see the quote from Alexi here, right? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot that we don't see in order to hit those levels.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you know you're going to get out of Blade. He's not really one to mince his words. He's not one to really soften his blow, and he's sitting there in an important game against an opponent that's a rival that you haven't beat for some time, and it's like, get together. Now's the time. Like, we just talked about this outside. It's time to shape up. And Alexi, to his credit, even said, yep, I lost focus and I snapped back in. And those are the ups and downs of any kind of competition that you're going to have between teams of this caliber is stressful moments. You're going to lose a clutch. A round's going to go horribly wrong. Your strategy that you have run 100 times, someone's going to miss a smoke. Those frustrations all build up, and that's up to Alexi and it's up to Blade to manage that stress within the team, and I think they do a wonderful job at it.
It's also a tell of how close the bond between the 2 are. You know, you have in-game leaders, you have coaches who obviously have to work together, but for a coach to be able to tell a player in the middle of a game, get your shit together, you know, and he responds well to it. That's Blade knowing how to, I guess, touch LXB and how to get into him, whereas I could imagine you as a coach as well, you've had the feeling many, many times that you would like to just shake one of the players and, you know, make them understand what you want them to do, but you also know that there's a social energy between you. And I think LXB and Blade, they know each other so well by now that he can afford to do that.
It works. It absolutely does as the Spodek is heating up. We need to talk about the other side of that match, which is Spirit losing a really big game to one of their biggest rivals. And we've heard a lot out of the Spirit camp about just not being too happy in general about their level. The thing is, they always say that in interviews, but if you lose that match versus Na'Vi, and then yesterday you roll over VP, but you might think, they had a stand-in. How much are we going to be challenged tomorrow?
I think it's the bigger topic is like, this is Spirit, who last year kind of blew up in Katowice. That was their arrival onto the scene. Had some struggles throughout the year, but cap it off winning the major. So now you've gotten to the top of the mountain. And this is that classic conversation of now you're fighting to stay the best team in the world. Now you're fighting to stay on top of the mountain, which everyone will tell you is always harder. And they've already come into this year and basically said, we went to the playoffs at the major at the end of December. We went to the playoffs in Copenhagen just a couple weeks ago. Now we're in the playoffs of Katowice. They've gone very deep in 3 tournaments in a row, and they've just said, we're feeling a little bit tired. You know, and you do see those emotions kind of disappear when you need to get hyped up. You do see them kind of get frustrated when they're playing in the match, all because they're a little bit exhausted coming out of a break, and yeah, getting back into the swing of things.
It goes for both teams. Everything is magnified when it is on a big stage like this, and luckily we had a chat with Alexi a while ago so we can hear about his headspace coming into this.
Well, we have something special for you all today. That's right, it is Spirit going against Navi right here in the Spodek, the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, all the goodness. But I'm standing with a man that is no stranger to being up on that stage. So welcome back, Alexi B. Tell us how it feels.
Good to be back. What else is there to say?
That's very true, which is also brings us back to the real conversation right here, right? With regard to Navi. It took so long to beat down on Spirit, and then you did it in the group stage just a couple days ago. 3-map affair, 2-1 win. Tell me what that does for a team's psyche.
I mean, it's important that we got the win, because now when we have a rematch, we were expecting a rematch. The vibe is different. It feels like we don't have this, you know, lock that we can't win. Now we saw that we can win. It was in the same tournament, and now we just need to play twice as good.
Yeah, kind of match that energy yet again. And so I guess I'll bring it to a quote here, right? You said it elevates our confidence in the overall level. Is that something that you can carry through the days where you guys aren't necessarily in the server on the stage?
I mean, it's like, for example, we played Mongols after the game against Spirit, took Mongols down convincingly. But now, obviously, it's our first game on the stage. But at the same time, I just feel like the team's a bit more fired up. So I just feel like, you know, we have everything that it takes. Just need to go out there, show no pressure, play fearless, and that's it.
You showed a lot of humility also as well. Just the other day, we saw Blade talking to you about getting it together. Some quote like that. We'll leave it at that. Tell me about that interaction, how it helps you.
I mean, you know, that's sports. Sometimes you're not there. Sometimes someone needs to tell you to get in there. The cultures are different. The teams are different, how they work. That's how it works in our team. And yeah, I mean, I felt like I got back into the game after that, and the rest was history.
The rest is most certainly history. You guys keep making history around here, and I want to ask you in this moment because, yes, you go back up there on the stage in the Spodek. Everyone's asking for Navi all day. You guys aren't even in the building. The crowd is chanting Navi. That's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. We also heard yesterday, even though we weren't playing, sometimes the crowd was chanting Navi, so that's very nice to hear and see. Yeah, we're just looking forward to, you know, feeling the fans up there on the stage.
Well, good luck to you, Mr. Alexa.
And I'm sure he will. I love it. The crowd is just lighting up the minute that JL was on screen, now that Alexi is on screen.
Oh, yeah.
Always very level-headed, and it's what you said there before, right, about that relationship between the two, between Blade and him. That is a match made in heaven, and that means, as you know, with people that have a very good professional relationship, sometimes it is hard, but they make it work.
Yeah, and it's about not avoiding those kind of tough conversations. If he's not in the game, get in the game. I liked what Alexi said too about the idea of like the cultural differences of like, you know, come from different regions as well. You have to understand where that kind of comment is coming from, and that might initially seem aggressive to certain ears, and Alexi very much understands where Blade comes from and didn't make a big deal out of it and just kind of got to work inside the server. It's cool hearing him talk about the confidence they gained, and then also it just means we have to work 2 times harder. So the boys are fired up this morning, but we know it's going to be twice as hard. So Navi comes into this without any illusions about how difficult of a task is ahead of him.
Yeah, I think that is very sobering and very good to go in that like that. We've seen teams before that thought, well, I beat them before, how hard can it be? Well, extremely difficult, hard. Especially in the Spodek. But of course, they had a lot to take from that best of 3 they already played versus Spirit, and Jacob is going to break something down from that match.
Yeah, I would love to show you guys exactly what we're speaking about, because often we find ourselves on the desk saying that the coach and the in-game leader have a close relationship and the coach can have an impact in the game. I'll show you a great example from the game between Na'Vi and Spirit, where Blade and LXB are having a huge impact on the comeback they made. We're jumping into Nuke. You set the scene right here. Spirit is up 11-8 and they're about to win this game. This round is after a Blade timeout. So just before we go into this, understand that Blade just took a timeout. We're conveying with LXB and this is what happens. We play out the round. Bit has smoked off ramp. You see a little bit of movement from Chopper out here, but I don't want to focus on Chopper. I want you guys to focus on the minimap up here. Look at player number 2, which is wonderful. He's rotating in towards ramp, where he's getting a bit of a boost. And this, you must assume, has been a read from Na'Vi or something they've discussed. They want to put Wonderful late in the round on top of the boxes. And guess what happens in this very specific round? Well, Spirit, they're going to walk into it. They're going to jump into the stack. Wonderful is getting a nice triple kill. And you see the instant impact. Na'Vi is winning the round without losing a single player. And you must assume that that has been a call, that has been a conversation between Blade and LXB. So when we say the timeouts can be essential in a game like this, when we say Blade can have an impact as a coach in the middle of the game, it's something like this. Without this call, without this round, Na'Vi would not have won Spirit in the group stage.
I like it, Jacob. It's true, and it is one of those things which sometimes it's difficult because we have a lot of tape on Blade specifically. He's also very vocal when it comes to interviewing him, so we know that system. And sometimes the analysis about that similar interaction on the other side, for Spirit specifically, they just don't do as much media. It's hard to say. I would recommend their YouTube channel. They do give a good look in there, right? But it is nothing to scoff at either.
No, and I think, I mean, that is something that we should get into is kind of deep diving with Hallie. But I mean, we've seen from the clips you're referencing, we saw kind of the way he tried to help handle emotions with Shiro back at the major in the grand final. We know he's got a huge tactical input. I think it was Zontix after Copenhagen that just trying to describe how much they miss him. They treat him like a sixth player who has just as much impact inside the server as they do. A ton of respect there. I'll say for Hallie though, I think the job tactically sometimes feels a little bit easier because you have a player like Donk. So you know a lot of the tactics that you're going to be using, a lot of things is set him up for some early success. He gets a lot of the utility, a lot of the love, a lot of the priority, and then the rest of the pieces kind of deliver around that.
I mean, I think a great example, you said to yourself, Hallie wasn't showing in Copenhagen. Spirit won that tournament without Hallie. I'm not saying he doesn't have a lot of impact.
Yeah, what are you saying?
No, I think he had a lot of impact. He was obviously helping the team from home as well. But I think if you were to reverse that and you'd say, Blade, can you send Na'Vi to a tournament without you being behind them? I think you'd see a significantly weaker Na'Vi. I don't think that's necessarily the case with Team Spirit for the same reason you brought up right here. When you have Donk, when you have Shiro, when you have the way that you play Counter-Strike in the Spirit camp, I think Hallie's value is more in the preparation, making sure everyone is on board, making sure the game plan is clear for Spirit, where Blade has a little bit more in the middle of the game impact.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's something that we may see today. We'll pay extra attention to it, but I also want to pay extra attention to the graphic that is on screen right now, because there has been this conversation about if Donk isn't fragging, then does the team win? I think that is too short of a statement to say in general, but of course it is true, and I think, do you have the same feeling that you did last Katowice at this stage? Because I remember being here and everybody you talked to and every match you saw, you thinking there is no way anyone keeps them from the trophy.
I mean, the shock value isn't here for like it was for last year.
That's true.
Kind of Donk come in, right? We kind of know what to expect, and he's kept it up for a whole year, so we don't really have any more questions. We don't need him to prove anything else to us. I think the big thing is, to answer your short question, yeah, I think they do have the pieces around that. I think this is like part of the fun of this matchup is outside of Donk, there's no true superstar for Na'Vi. But you look at Zontix, you look at Magisk, you look at JL, Ema, you look at these guys, they're like targeted impact. Bit as well. They're not the superstars, but they're like targeted impact. They know exactly what their goal is in different situations, and they're incredibly powerful in making the moves in those little micro moments. And that's how I think guys like Magisk and Zontix make up for Donk maybe starting slow.
Okay, is this maybe a controversial way to put it? And it's just to get you going, right? Okay. So does Na'Vi need all 5 pieces to shoot hard in order to beat a Spirit, or only one is shooting his best?
I don't think they need all 5 to do it at the same time, and that hasn't really been the case either. What is very strong about Na'Vi is the team is very homogeneous in the sense that all 5 players can step it up. Maybe apart from LXB, individually speaking, he hasn't had the best time, but you have 4 players who each have had an MVP last year, who each are coming into every tournament thinking to themselves, I can be the difference maker, where we know when it comes to Spirit, it's Donk first, and then sometimes it's Shiro, then sometimes it's Zontix, and there's a lot of individual firepower, but I will say if you put them up against each other, Na'Vi rely on the team play, they rely on the synergy, where Spirit can win games with just Donk popping off. Na'Vi don't have that luxury.
It's true, but it would also be disingenuous to say that they never have it. I mean, just looking back at the best of 3 they played versus Spirit, in the first map on Mirage. It was Bit and it was Emma, and that does work and that can work, right? So it's not something that we should scoff at either.
No, but again, it's like that. It's a targeted impact. Like I feel like a lot of times with Na'Vi, like the guy who's going to get you over the finish line is like JL. Like he's just going to be solid, and then there becomes a moment where somebody needs to step up, somebody needs to deliver, somebody needs an important triple kill, double kill in the right moment. JL always seemingly provides that, and I think it's such a luxury when you say this roster goes so deep. It is such a luxury that you have 4 guys who can all deliver for you in that moment, and that's how you overcome not having a superstar on the team.
I think the best way to phrase it as well is that when it comes to Spirit and when it comes to Donk, it's not map dependent. Donk is the best player on pretty much any given map out there. Surely there's certain positions he likes to play more than others, whereas I feel with you, as you said, Na'Vi, it depends on the map as well. Some maps it's very much Emma in the center of everything. Some maps JL is coming in as the clutch guard. Some maps Wonderful is having more impact. So it's a bit more spread across the board, whereas for Donk, it doesn't matter what map he's playing, he will be the spearhead regardless.
Let's be real, like the conversation around Donk is like, if you wanted to distill it down to the easiest thing, is Donk's just going to straight up win you 4 rounds per map.
Yeah.
He's probably going to win you 4 rounds per map, and if you're an opposition going up against that, you're thinking in your head, we have to ignore the times where Donk gets his, because it's going to happen. We need to take him winning them 4 rounds and make it 2. Or we need to take him winning them 5 rounds and bring it down to 3. Like, you need to minimize the number of rounds. He's just going to win you on his own, and you need to make it so you can trade that off, and then you can play the middle round, and you can play the middle portions, not at too much of a disadvantage.
It also means if you are the competitor, in this case Na'Vi, that you don't have a lot of room for error, right? Because you only get a certain amount of doors you can open, but you have to finish those rounds on this stage. You cannot drop the ball, even when it comes to a difficult clutch.
And I think that's both conversations around their teams when you hear them talk about, Spirit saying, we're a little bit tired, we're a little bit fatigued, a little bit stressed. Same with Na'Vi. That's those moments, those like miscommunications in 3v3s. That's always the moments where they say, we had it in our hands, we let it slip away. It's always those kinds of rounds where some detail just gets missed and it turns into a catastrophe.
I'm sure Spirit thinks that about the best 3 they lost to Na'Vi. You were talking so much about the map, and I think about the maps, and I think the veto is ready. So we can take a look if anything is out of the ordinary, Jacob.
Yeah, I think it is interesting because the whole conversation in regarding to Spirit and their veto so far this year has been whether they pick Nuke or whether they pick Dust 2. And they've been going a bit back and forth between the two. And then yesterday in the semifinal, we saw them pick Ancient. In the quarterfinal. So no big surprise the train is going out of the window. But the big question to me is whether or not Spirit is going to pick a Nuke or Dust 2 or Ancient perhaps.
I mean, I think they're going to pick Dust 2 because you have to imagine against Na'Vi, Nuke is going to be there for you later on in the pool if you want it. I'm more interested in what's Na'Vi going to pick. They go back to Mirage.
Yeah.
And it's what they won in the group stage, right? Mirage, Dust 2, and Nuke were the 3 maps selected there, and Mirage was a win for Na'Vi in that series.
That makes an awful lot of sense. It has been the home pick of Na'Vi. It is a map they feel very comfortable on, and a map where Alexi B and Emma in particular are involved in pretty much everything in the mid-rounding.
Gotta be Dust 2, Jacob.
It gotta be Dust 2. It will be Dust 2. So we get 2 very dusty maps to kick off this series. 2 maps where it's very, very open as well. We spoke about JL, the impact he's gonna have. I've seen Donk entering towards that B side time and time again. So the JL versus Donk and Dust 2, look out for that. No Ancient, no Anubis. We get Nuke as a 3rd deciding map, which I think is perfect. Exact replica of what we saw on the group stage.
Yeah, I think it's badass. I think both teams just come to it and say, yeah, we'll rinse and repeat this. Now, to be fair, they have played like 5 of the 7 maps in the pool over the past year, numbers of times against each other. So, I mean, wherever you're going to go, they've played each other a number of times. But I just like that Spirit's like, yeah, we lost the series, but we'll just rinse and repeat it. We'll go right back to it.
Yeah, we love it. I know a lot of people love Dust 2 as a decider. I think Nuke isn't a slouch either. We saw a couple of bangers, especially in the group stage. So now that we have our map pool, I think bringing it back to what Spirit could be doing here, right? Being a back-to-back in the likes of Fnatic did it, Na'Vi did it. Of course, it is a hard thing to do, Jacob, when everybody is gunning for you this time around.
Yeah, I mean, everyone have been looking at Spirit the past couple of months, and I think everyone recognizes the fact that they are the best team in the world, and they've been playing like the best team in the world. That's why they won the major. That's why Donk won all the individual criteria as well. I think Na'Vi have stepped it up from Copenhagen into Katowice. I see a better playing Na'Vi, so I think the playing field has been leveled out a little bit. People are also quick to forget Na'Vi had a period in the mid portion of 2024 where they were going into every single grand final, winning a couple of those as well. So I think this matchup is much more even on paper than maybe some people would think.
I mean, I think when you ask like everyone's gunning for Spirit, that's like a big picture.
That's always happened, I guess.
Yeah, well, if you put the lens on it too, it's like the other conversation we always have is how it's so hard to beat the same team twice in a tournament. And I don't know, it's an interesting conversation because, yeah, you just beat the team on the same exact maps in the series in the group stage. Going to be very difficult coming back into it. If you win the series, you typically don't look into things nearly in as much detail and depth as you do if you lose the series. But you hear from Na'Vi players, they know how hard it is to beat Spirit. We know how much it means to them to beat Spirit with this rivalry Na'Vi being so one-sided. So I don't think they missed any details. I think Na'Vi looked through these demos in just the same intensity as if they had lost that series. And I think we come in and, yeah, this for me is 50-50. Flip a coin, I don't know who's going to win.
It is a 50-50 game. It's impossible to tell beforehand who's going to win it, but I think there's a lot of win condition that we already covered already. Obviously, one being Dong. I want to see more of Shiro as well. We saw Shiro play well yesterday on a cheap notice. Not a lot of flashes, not a lot of smokes to be occupied by. I think if you're Na'Vi, you're going to make sure that Shiro is kept out of the game for as long as possible, if possible, and that's what I want to see him step up. You know, it's also a bit of an underrated fact that Na'Vi have more states experience than Spirit. That's just a fact of the matter. Na'Vi were in all these grand finals, in all these playoffs, where Spirit in the mid portion of 24 had a conversation surrounding them. Maybe a player's getting kicked. Maybe it's not really working out in Spirit. So in terms of raw, I guess, experience inside an arena like this, Na'Vi's ahead of them.
I'm really curious. I think the Oppers are going to be an interesting thing for me to watch, because I feel like against both these teams that are so detailed, so good with utility, so good tactically, I think Oppers sometimes struggle to find the moments they can have impact the way they used to be able to in Counter-Strike, because everything's on point. Everyone's kind of shifting slowly. You don't really get a great indication. So for Shiro and for Wonderful on both sides of the map, it's going to be like, you might only have a couple opportunities to truly leave a mark on the map. And when those opportunities present themselves, which Opper is just going to seize that moment and deal with it and handle business? Or are you going to miss that opportunity and have to sit around and wait for another chance to change the nature of this map? I think those guys are going to have to be on point right out of the gate, because you never know when that moment comes.
Yes, it's such an interesting side quest, but there are so many to watch throughout this map, and I brought it up earlier in the day as well for Na'Vi. I think some people put an asterisk next to their major win. I don't, but I think this is the kind of stage where if you beat Spirit on the stage, you get into that grand final, you can dream of winning it. That puts you in a whole different stratosphere.
I mean, I think Jason said it earlier, regardless of who wins between Spirit and Na'Vi today, they will walk into the grand final tomorrow as the favorite going up against Vitality. So yes, the pressure's on. We said it, 2 grand finals in one tournament. You got the first one tonight.
We do. It's going to be an amazing match. If it gives as much fireworks as the one we saw in the studio did, then it's going to be insane. Na'Vi versus Spirit as they walk down the Hall of Heroes. They can gaze upon those who have been so lucky to lift the trophy. And Chopper, of course, knows that he did it already himself. Alexi has so many memories and heartbreaks in situations like this. But can he, with Blade, have the correct game plan to take them down one more time? For Spirit, it is a long path. They said, getting to all those playoffs, it gets a little tiring, but you know that when they step on this stage, they are completely focused in order to get that trophy once more.
We play worse when we face Spirit. I feel like it's more of a mental thing. We have some revenge to do. They beat us so many times in different tournaments. It's one thing to beat them in groups, and the other one is to beat them in Spodek in front of all the people.
Довольно похожие команды с примерно одинаковой системой. Это всегда близкие матчи. Каждый игрок может переворачивать игру.
Мы выступаем в качестве фаворитов, и всего лишь, что я хочу, это выиграть турнир и доказать, что мы можем побеждать, мы способны побеждать, и мы хотим побеждать.
One specific match can matter. It can be a completely different game. If you meet them in Spodek on big arena with a lot of crowd. I'm not scared of Spirit, I'm not scared of any opponent at this moment. It's still gonna be a very tough match.
The trophy is been there. I've lost in 2 finals. I'll do my best to not make it the 3rd one.
Lifting the trophy isn't that important. If we will manage to play well, we can lift it.
We have a great firepower. We have a great game plan. This is what makes us one of the best teams. We're getting in shape. We're getting better with
every game. Every matchup for them against us is very hard. If they're not playing their best game, they're likely to lose.
Who's ready for more Counter-Strike? Here we go, semi-final 2 of the first team out. Only Blade remains from their 2020 victory here in Katowice. 4 years later, they're the EWC and Copenhagen major champions. Please welcome Spodek. It's Navi! Their opponents, these next 5 players are looking to cement themselves as the world #1. It is the 2024 Shanghai Major, the current IEM Winter Championship title holders. They're looking for a repeat. They want to put a dunk on it. It's Team Spirit! Well, here we go, Katowice, a semi-final with absolute genuine spice. 2 teams that want to be in that final. 2 teams that want to be playing Vitality for that trophy. We know already 1 team has won here, but that's ancient history. So who is going to go through? Ladies and gentlemen, is it Team Spirit? Is it Navi? One more time, is it Spirit? Is it Navi? On the count of 3, Spodek, are you ready? Let's get it on.
Tonight we bear witness to the two best teams in Counter-Strike in the world, fighting for survival in a semi-final a year after this rivalry began. For 6 months, Na'Vi could not beat this team, but then the dam begun to break. Despite a lethal donk, Na'Vi took down Spirit in the group stage. The question tonight is, can Lightning strike twice, or will it just be Thunder in the Spodek?
Was in this arena where we first met Donk in this Spirit roster. And the whole world stood still for a moment thinking this 17-year-old kid might be about to break every rule established in Counter-Strike. Na'Vi might meanwhile failed to make playoffs last year. For JL, Wonderful, and Imma, this is their first time in the Spodek. A team that has won a major, only now taking its first steps up those stairs. If one cog in this Na'Vi machine breaks down, any slow start, any rough go at it, then the whole Na'Vi system could be doomed to fail. They've got to win this by being the better team. All right, Spodek, who have we got? Is it Team Spirit? No, is it Na'Vi? Then let's get it on!
Well, the crowd have made up their mind, but we'll have to wait one more moment. Team Spirit, Na'Vi, Mirage, Dust 2, and Nuke, the same as the group stage, but do we get a different game today? That's the question. Spirit, it wasn't perfect yesterday. It was enough to get the job done. You said it yourself, this is Na'Vi's first time in the Spodek. Can they come in with a bang?
Starting off on a home map for Na'Vi. And so they want to start this one off strong.
T-sides especially, those have been the problem for Team Spirit when we swap to the second half. So Na'Vi needs to come out swinging in this first, take a decisive lead. The pistol helps out, and that's a good way to start.
Not a bad way to open. Chopper tapped out, and Na'Vi eyes set on this A play. It's an awkward fight for bit at range. There's Zontix with a little bit more, but it's all about Wonderful. From nowhere, that P250 has cracked open this pistol round. Donk starts to charge at him. Donk starts to run him down. Wonderful's heroics might not be enough here. Is Donk still in the picture? Plays further forward. It's a bit more from Donk. 2v2. Wonderful thought he'd done enough, that this pistol round was in the bag, but Donk is still a killer of dreams. Na'Vi thought they had that pistol round. They thought they had it right where they wanted it. That could have been a great start to this series, and Donk has snatched it away.
The kit is on Donk, but he goes for every single kill. Cold-blooded, unwavered by the pressure of the stage. What a way to set your mark in this series. Stealing a pistol round like that.
And just so we're clear, that is what Na'Vi are up against. That is insane.
That's the defending champion. That's the record breaker. That's a kid who just won't quit. And he is back at home here in the Spodek. Sending it, top of middle. Break on the smoke, Donk gets out. No punish for Na'Vi.
Well, might have done it in the groups, but this is the big test to see if Na'Vi can beat their demons.
Another back up top one more time. Relentless here. Spirit refused to let go of middle. Na'Vi are going to have to come and take it from them. They've only got 2 players to do so, but Wonderful, after that big pistol with the AK, could be the guy here for Na'Vi. He'll need to be. Leaving Bit on the lurk. Na'Vi go back out at 45.
Good fight over here in mid. I mean, Wonderful
More impact from him, but it's going to struggle to keep coming through. All these crossfires teed up in the connector. Backstab from Bit. 1v3 turns 1v2, and Bit with a little bit of room to work with here. Long fights onto the Cat player. Magic's only armored than SMG.
He's at AK.
Looking for a way back in, but they're just not giving it. Oh, all right, Bit ball rolling. Just Zontix left to beat. Rifle retrieved. Don clutches up in the pistol, but now it's Bit's turn. Is he ready for Zontix up close? He's going hunting. Zontix holds the line.
That hurts. No, it was within reach as well. He could have got it before the time expired, but Zontix holds on. Already seeing some very sharp shots to start this series. No one coming in cold here on either side. But Na'Vi, they can't just hit hard. They've got to win as a unit. They've got to trust in the system. Team Spirit looking to sweep the opening 3 rounds of the map that Na'Vi made home for so long. A double-digit win streak ended in a Cologne Grand Final against Vitality. For a moment, it got a bit weak for Na'Vi. They had a bit of a shaky end to last year. But coming back into Kato, they've re-established it on another win streak. First picking it when available. Na'Vi back at home.
I mean, we've heard from Spirit some of the frustrations that this team have felt. They weren't content with their quarterfinal win yesterday. Shiro in his interview said, "We're saving the emotions for the Na'Vi semi-final."
Well, there's plenty in this room right now.
Building into a B hit here. Zontix side by side with Magix to defend this side of the map. The rotates are a long way away. So as Alexi tees up the flashes, it's going to come down to IEM leading the charge. The Eagle out. If they get that first kill, they can look to spill on over, but Zontix doesn't leave anything open and chewed up by the util. It's a decisive victory over here at B. Spirit do not break a sweat. The pistols don't find a lick of damage, so it's a good start for Team Spirit.
Spirit are great at those kind of rounds, right? They're not the team that are going to overplay their hand. Sure, Don likes to get aggressive, but it's often supplemented by Chopper. He's often set up by his team, and when it comes down to those late 30, 40-second hits for Na'Vi, you're never going to find Spirit overextending, making a mistake. Surprisingly, not a super heavy gamble team either on the CT side. They trust in their riflers. Donk is the roamer, running his route to Con. First gun round here.
This is where, if you're Na'Vi, I think just to deal with some of these early punches you've been dealt, you want to try and get on the board, right? They had a great chance in the pistol, that big 3K from Wonderful that Don clutched up, denied a 1v1 in their 4-spy round, so you're hoping that you can break through early if you're Na'Vi. First kill is certainly a good way to start. Alexi holds down middle while IEM plays out through the lower tons, but it looks like Chopper plans on taking this fight. IEM knocked out of the round, and Alexi nowhere to lend a helping hand.
Setting up smokes to keep mid-control here for Na'Vi, and I guess they sort of have it, but Spirit are fine with a 4v4 and go back to play the bomb sites. They may even re-aggress. Multiple players pushing in at the same time. Alexi's caught going up catwalk. That will signal where Na'Vi want to end.
Still, it was those B-side players that committed to that push. So for now, B-side is open. Na'Vi have this control they were looking for. That's a big kill from JL on Chopper as he rotates over. Chance for the plant now. Time to get set up in this 3-on-3. They lose Wonderful trying to cross out truck side. Zontix doesn't quite get that spot. He seemed really aware. Did he see something? JL. It feels like they know about him. He's getting a little bit nervous here. 30 points of health pushed up over on short. 2 players coming out market side. Bit wins the first. But there's another nade. Raining in. JL's knocked out. It's got to be Bit. The vintage member in this Na'Vi jersey. The one still holding on. Win the first clutch, but when the rifles are out, Bit will prevail.
Anchor of the year, shows it in a post plant, sat back on Van and holding his own. Na'Vi don't wait long to come in with a round, but it costs them everything. Down to the clutch, down to the wire. Expect a lot of those this evening. An instant Spirit timeout, Halley getting on the back of that. Two very strong coaches behind both teams this evening. Both teams extremely tentative on that mid-control last round, taking it really late. Spirit switch it up this time, trying to move away from what is typical boost up and padding the sights. It's a very slow default for Na'Vi. You're not going to see him quick taking mid against this team. In fact, this round may just be an execute. You would expect IEM under a late lurk, perhaps. And Na'Vi trying to play away from the grain.
Eyes set on this A play. Spirit only have one man here, but there's more players moving around now to try and link up with Chopper. Here's that first volley of util. No immediate play through yet from Na'Vi, but they start to leak out now ramp side. Spirit is slowly but surely bringing bodies over. For the time being, this one, no damage done either which way. Spirit have willfully given this site over to Na'Vi. They plan on pouncing when this bomb looks to get planted. Grouped up spawn side. Alexi gets caught on an island. There's Donk lending a helping hand. Na'Vi get boxed in. They're trapped. Can IEM bail them out? 2 quick kills. Gives them something to hold on to here, but the nade will find Wonderful. It's got to be IEM, or this round is Spirit's, and he's triple swung. They don't make life easy. For Na'Vi on that site hit. Team Spirit very patient, willfully giving that site over with the belief they can retake, they can play around the tap of that bomb. And the moment Alexi falls, the captain on his push out towards the spawn, Spirit hit the go button.
Yeah, super decisive setup there to just rotate all CT. They had Zontix and Shiro covering from an underlurk, and the other players are just grouping up to play the bomb. Doesn't even come down to it. Hoping for a hero deagle shot.
I mean, you talked about Mirage as the map coming into this, and you said how for Na'Vi, they did encounter some problems. I think the biggest issue for them was when they really needed Mirage. It felt like they could no longer lean on it, and it wouldn't be a nice, attempt to rebuild this map for them. They end up facing an informed Spirit to open up. I mean, thus far, they've had plenty of chances to get on the board, but Spirit have won the vast majority. It's now money issues for Na'Vi as they're getting painted into a bit of a corner in the early stages of this semi-final. Nades onto ramp. Chopper, that's good timing, going to do a lot of damage, makes life real easy for his A-side players as Donk farms.
Yeah, and going back to talking about the maps, right? You mentioned they've had troubles when they need this map. I think this is one of those times they need it really badly right now, because while I can see a world where this Na'Vi Spirit could 2-0 this series, it's a very hard sell with Dust 2 up next. The only time Na'Vi have won that in the head-to-head is back at Pro League when they ran over them. But generally, you don't want to play Spirit on Dust 2. They picked into it every single series they could, with the exception of that VP game. And so this is already off to a fantastic start for the defending champions. Bit pacier this time for IEM out under. He's got support as well. Gonna beat the molly even and look for a pick. But Spirit are nowhere to be seen. It's just Donk cycling nades down under, knowing IEM's pathing. Looking to get a man up inside. Wonderful's first AWP of the game covers, but very site-centric for Spirit, 3 on A.
Look at Spirit trying to anticipate this move. I mean, you can tell this is a long-standing rivalry. The familiarity is evident in how the CT side has been moving around every ebb and flow that Na'Vi try to pull.
Yeah, Spirit aren't going to move from this position much, right, unless they rotate a player B safely. Like, Zontix is checking timings. Him and Donk have a crossfire. This is going to be a really hard round for Na'Vi to break through if they come up con. Pressure is on JL. Needs to find the timing on this lurk. He's making a move.
JL, they just turn to hold him, and Zontix, perfect timing on that check. Donk with a smoke spam. Emma never even gets a chance, my word! I mean, every bone in your body tells you at this level, it can't be a one-man army. It can't all be about one player, but Donk breaks that rule. 13-3. Just 7 rounds deep into this semi-final. Bit of a chance to play out through ramp, and now he's been spotted half health. He's wounded. He's trying to get out of there, and they won't let him escape. Donk runs him down. And a flawless round bestowed upon Spirit only strengthens the resolve at 6-1.
Yeah, like they needed any more help. 3 AKs behind this AWP as well. And yeah, Donk breaks all the rules, right? We saw that last Katowice when he broke out. Just running to the action, running to the gunfight. Never afraid to re-peek. Pixel perfect crosshair placement. And that's before you even begin to talk about his movement. But right here, this is super clean for Spirit. We're back to another contact play for Na'Vi. A set call. Their best bet, Shiro, the 3rd piece of this B site, has just come here in time.
Every time they've tried to hit B, it feels like they're running into a stack, and this round is no exception. Still, it's no kills for Magix. Donk's been found in the meantime. Hold on a second, Shiro's gonna start hitting shots, or else this could get out of hand. Shiro up close, can't find a thing.
Got an ult.
Zontix, long sight lines, Chopper getting involved now as well as Spirit throw themselves into this sight hole, but it's awkward. Nothing is clean. Zontix finally the man to make a move, and it all comes down to JL with this Deagle. Oh, the first swing is a success. Does JL have anything else left in the tank? He's low on health. 1 kill coming into this round, and now they're expecting him to 1v2. Can JL be the man to bring Na'Vi back into this? He's been given room, 50 seconds. Time is the only thing on his side. Eyes set on that A play. He runs off with this bomb. Zontix is giving chase. That gap's starting to close, but JL just beats him on the timing.
Get the stick. Could get spammed. Zontix waits for the confirmation of Plant. He doesn't know where he is. JL crossing, caught in the open, and Team Spirit keep them coming. 4 kills from Zontix. They are not letting up. They are not letting Na'Vi into this game. Even with some chance kills on that B hit, the AWP caught close. Donk killed on the mid lurk. None of it enough to win the clutch. There's no way this rivalry turns into a stomp, surely.
I mean, that was the reality for Na'Vi for the longest time, right? This rivalry was very one-sided.
But they always got a map, Harry. They always got a map in a BO3 and a BO5. A close game here and there.
I think the thing that hurts right now is you've had, what, 3 clutch chances already for Na'Vi, 3 clutches that have all come fairly close as well. Often lost out in 1v1s. And so you feel like this could be a really competitive map, but in all those make or break moments, they've come up in favor of Team Spirit. And that was always the big worry, right? We say coming into this, Na'Vi have to be the better team. The individuals are getting Spirit through the closes of these rounds.
Feels like that relies on so much more, right? So much harder to remain consistent when you don't have that one start that can save your game. Donk is doing that right now. Ema tries to push himself to the forefront, decked by Zontix. Shiro again in the right place at the right time, hits the shot.
Okay, this is good timing from Alexi. Bit's opened up as well. Late trade on a Shiro. Bit comes into this semi-final. Highest rated player at Katowice, and now he's playing like it. Head taken off of Donk in the rotate. And so Spirit pull up a man down. A lost B bomb site awaits them. Chopper and Magix, 3 kills each. And worlds apart on this retake.
To count them out would be a mistake in this round, but it does look good for Na'Vi. It's going to come down to the final few seconds of the clock and the timing of Wonderful. If he goes down with nothing to say, This ball could roll the other way. Connects this shot, and that should call it off. Chopper tries, throws himself into the action, but this is a bridge too far.
Does have smoke, but yeah, there's the swing from Captain Alexi. Great impact from Alexi being bit to make that happen.
And from a 3v5 no less. Double kill on the B hold. Alexi and Bit break in. JL likes what he sees, but we need a little bit more here for Na'Vi.
I mean, look, Bit keeping up his form is at least a promising sign. Na'Vi might have ran through the groups, but Bit was often the guy leading the charge. Oh, this is going to be a clash. Chopper and Donk side by side. JL and Wonderful await them. Chopper opens Donk. Knowing about, they heard both guns fire off, but this is a tricky trade for Wonderful to attempt. Smoke dropped in, and this one ends with Spirit getting out. 5v4, chance to fall back now.
Very safe for Spirit, not overdoing their hand. They just take the 5v4, and they know that they've run down the clock so many times on these default rounds for Na'Vi. That was a round Na'Vi were just trying to do a little contact play into A. Now they've had to go back to plan B. Alexi's full of ideas. But this is a hard map to break into without mid control. They have none of it. Is it going to be yet again the late mid take here for Na'Vi? With an orb still roaming around. And Donk in a round-winning position. If the bomb comes his way, that's an awful miss. Zontix is lethal right now. He's going for every single kill. Ice cold in middle, another triple. Matching Donk, if not exceeding him right now.
I mean, that's what's been insane about these playoff games for Team Spirit, right? You're seeing the depth of the rest of this roster. In the games yesterday, it was Magic, Shiro showing up. Now it's Zontix, 16-3. Bits left to save, and so the kind of last minute or so of this round is Na'Vi coming to terms with just how one-sided this game is. They need that second win.
Just feels like everything's on rails for Spirit. The timing that they're retaking middle, sure, there's a missed shot for Wonderful. That's the first domino. If he connects it, they probably come out under and kill the second cap player. But the timing that Spirit reaggress is just perfect as Na'Vi are creeping out with no util. Stress for Alexi B. He's been on this stage. He's been in 2 grand finals in the Spodek, neither of them picking up the trophy. He was worried about maybe the curse of getting there a 3rd time. Well, right now, it's not looking good to lock in a grand finalist appearance. 8-2 for Spirit on their opponent's map pick. And Na'Vi hemorrhaging timeouts. How do you solve this problem? B has been the best for them, right? These pops, short splits.
But it's felt like a bit of a double-edged sword, hasn't it, right? Like, if they don't find these openings, if they have to go to explore somewhere else and they don't have this mid control, the round just peters out. It goes nowhere. It's hinging so heavily on someone opening up. And sure, they've been able to get past Magic's here a few times. Shiro, when he's tried peaks with the orb. Oh, look at the B anchor at 16-3 for Team Spirit.
Yikes.
And you understand that Na'Vi just haven't been having a good time in this game. Donk, aggressive. Still trying to maintain this dominion over middle, plays through the connector. While Na'Vi, this time, they want that mid control.
Oh, it's all on Shiro right now. He's just backing up back and forth between mid and B. It's the timing. It's going to make all the difference. The short player gets a kill, but they don't even know about the boost.
It's opened up the B site. That bomb is moving back around. Na'Vi, they've gotten the control they were looking for. Zontix is still up here on this boost. They haven't cleared him. That molly isn't going to stop him either. They think short's clear. That was the best chance for Zontix with Chopper dead on the rotate over. Na'Vi finally stay the course. They break through this B site and they do it cleanly. 4 players left standing at the end of that round, and now Zontix getting boxed in. Team Spirit Sadist, the body shot champ, death by 1,000 cuts for anyone that comes around this corner as Zontix builds back in. No one's near the bomb. Zontix has an open runway. Molly in from the market, and that will seal the fate of the round. Zontix was interested there for a moment, but Na'Vi wisen up to it.
Lucky he didn't know. That could have gone very, very wrong for Na'Vi. You can't afford to throw those rounds away at this point in the game. It has felt like Bit, right? He has been the hero for Na'Vi. He's been the guy dragging them into all of these rounds on the T side. These B entries, just clinical headshots like we know him. He's the franchise Na'Vi player. He's the new face of this team.
In spite of that, though, in spite of being their legacy player, he's the OG Na'Vi member who didn't find success here in the spot egg.
Sure. Joined right after 4 years in Na'Vi, only org he's ever been represented by. There from day one.
Flash red chopper. Oh, Lexi! Gonna sniff him out. Top mid push shut down.
He'll take that. It was very quiet in middle. It was maybe too quiet in middle for Na'Vi's liking. Now we get to see what Spirit do at man down. We haven't seen these rounds untraded, no control, 4v5, no AWP. Spirit have to make moves. This should be, on paper, a Na'Vi round.
Spirit know they need info, so they get active on that other side of the map, but right now it leaves Zontix alone as this B-side defender, and he's about to get split on. It's been taken. You tell out, Zontix knows they're coming. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. He hears these footsteps in the site. He knows they're close by. The round was resting on the shoulders of Zontix, and he can't find that first incision. Na'Vi shooting for 4 on the half. 4v2 in this post plant as Wonderful struck from the tally. They just have to hold on. Na'Vi, the only man they have to beat is Shiro. And they'll at least have salvaged a 4-round T-side. This was looking like it could have been a very one-sided opener. Na'Vi had to dig deep to build back in, but with Bit backing them up, Na'Vi will find some solid ground to stand on their home map of Mirage.
Guys, don't be late for Prague.
Late?
Oh, don't get me started.
He told me 10:30 theory the other day.
Without me?
Secondary IGF things. Anyway, he joined the server 11:15.
No way.
I literally went over to him, took his headset off, and I just said, "Little bro, remember, you're just the coach."
To Blade?
Boys!
Anyway, he takes a timeout, gets on comms, turns to me and says, "Any suggestions?" And I'm like, "Little bro, you're the coach."
Blade? Fair enough.
And I'm like, "Go B? No. Go B but then go A? No. Brother, I name 7 other variations. Finally, I say, Fnatic into game relation fake, ending with Astralis.
Typical.
Which I know he wanted to do in the first place.
And what does he say?
If that's what you want to do. Bro, I literally stood up, took his little strat book, and boom!
Boys, what are you doing?
Discussing strats.
Brainstorming.
What have I told you? You don't need to do that.
You're the boss. My little brother. If you're gonna make a call, make a call. Say it with your chest.
Only us two taking responsibility. Leading.
Secondary leading.
Oi!
He's a coach. A manager, man.
So he's like, why you order Mackies? That's not in line with our nutritional guidelines.
He's obsessed with greens.
But his HTV page is full red. Anyway, I just told him, little boy, take the fries out of the bag.
Bro, I've literally got him like that.
Wait, like that?
Like that, like my newborn sibling.
Fucking crazy.
Little bitches.
Of this rivalry in the group stage. Spirit remind them who's boss on the biggest stage. 8-4 half from Na'Vi's map pick and Mirage. Spirit have come through swinging. It's not just the donk show. And Na'Vi need a hero now or never. A grand final awaits. And the second half of Mirage first.
Yeah, look, Na'Vi found something down the stretch. Spirit looked better throughout the entirety of the start of this semi-final, but this final few rounds, a little bit of breathing room for Na'Vi. That's got to keep them in this. Team Spirit, they were relentless over this mid-control in the first half. It felt like Chopper had the right reads, and he's got some fantastic pieces shooting hard alongside of Donk. Zontix both lights out. For Na'Vi, it's been Bit trying to be the hero. Ima taking contact first. If Na'Vi can win this pistol, they know this game is back on. Ima and Bit seem to think it is. Bit still let loose up in the palace. Bomb will get planted. Na'Vi don't contest that. They want to play this 4v2. Chopper and Magix take a bit of control. But Na'Vi now spring the trap. Moving in. They've cleared all these sight lines. There's very few options left for where Spirit can be. Smoke on that bomb, but Magix connects the first. There's the important trades. This time, Wonderful's action in the pistol is not in vain. 3 kills to open up in the first pistol round of this semi-final. And it fell on deaf ears, but in that second pistol round, right when Na'Vi needed it, Wonderful steps up.
A sigh of relief, I think. You're not celebrating yet if you're Na'Vi. It's the start of a long road back into this game, and you know that Spirit could even upset you in the second after a bomb plant. There is never a moment for pause in a matchup like this. And one thing Spirit have been doing even more so this event is always funding Donk's AKs, right? Like if someone saves a rifle in a lost gun round, they'll give it to Donk, he'll buy armor, they'll play Glock armor. They don't care. They want to set up their star. They've done it again. Gifting over an AK to the young prodigy. Knowing how much output he can give us. Let's look at last Katowice, right? We know Donk's rating, we know what he did. He had more multi-kill rounds than rounds he had a single frag in. By a margin of 7. 79 multi-kill rounds in a tournament is insane.
Terrifying in a round like this to think about that statistic. He more often gets 2 than 1, and that's not what you want if you're Na'Vi when he's got the hero AK. You stop Donk, you stop Spirit in this round. He's going to start searching over towards B. Alexi, jump check can put him in the prying eyes of Donk, and he's already up past this Molotov. Donk's got the ball rolling. That bomb's still over towards A, but Donk, he's drawn all the attention, he's drawn all the eyeballs. Na'Vi were about to leave. Oh my God, this could still get weird. Shiro out on the island, that's the bomb spotted. Oh dear. What? Spirit have just handed Na'Vi away right back into this. Donk double kill might not be enough. As Shiro gives that bomb away. These kills might just be in vain. Bit posted. Bites down on mid. Goodbye, Team Spirit. As Zontix moves in, the sight is lost. The bomb away from him. And only armed with this MP9, now low on health. Creeping forward, Ema on the angle, bit ready to trade. There should be no way. There should be no way.
That is just an unforgivable mistake. No justification allows it. Walking through the smoke alone with the bomb, his entire team out inside of the B site. Na'Vi were looking like they were going to save.
They were. They denied rotating. They peeled back. They were falling back into the A site when Shiro fights them.
That's just a disaster. Even if he waits a bit more time, they can get through CT. They can come join him, make it look like a hunt. Wonderful seizes the opportunity and wins the round off a single kill despite Donk's best effort. That's the round that would have just plunged Na'Vi into darkness.
This is an insane fight to try and open with on the Deagle. Long range, wonderful waiting back in jungle. They smoke him off.
For the best, I think. Jump spots for the ramp, Bit not giving away a thing. Na'Vi burning a lot of util here in tandem. Spirit have baited out everything off this A site. Smoke, molly, flash, nade, it's all gone. Bit's left with nothing but his aim. Still shouldn't hold him back, but it won't be on this A site where Spirit lay their hats. Zero util, contact play.
JL currently having a really, really rough game.
It's not going to get better.
3 and 13, and he's now out of position as this B hit is loading up. He will make it around in time. Molly primed for JL. Elects not to throw it yet, smoke in the way, but that's going to waste even more time from the clock for Spirit.
Might have saw the bomb on the map there. It definitely did the second time.
That's a big jump check from Alexi. Info is keying around like this, and he's collected all of it. JL bombs. Can that multi-kill right there be the 3K that brings him back into this semi-final?
Well, I said it wouldn't get better. It definitely did. Spirit gets slowed down by that Molotov. They can't pop like they want to on the timing they have. And so JL, 4K round, better than nothing right now. Trying to get his head back in this matchup, a round down.
This was 8-2 to Team Spirit. They held all the cards, all the advantages, and Na'Vi have started grinding their way back in. This next round, we get to see just how much more mileage this has as Spirit bring the guns back out on this T side. It's more of these slow rounds over towards this mid control to open up. Chopper looking for that first fight. There are bodies out in middle willing to go blow for blow with Chopper.
Donk v Bit on A. Now that's an exciting clash with how these players have been performing. Can he find that crucial entry? All this in mid is a fake, drawing attention from the real move of Team Spirit.
Two top performers, side by side. JL catches Chopper, bit bested by Donk in that head-to-head, and he continues. Storms out through the apartments, wonderful, and Alexi just left too far away as Spirit split this A site. A man down on the retake. Wonderful, looks like he wants to go for this, but Alexi's peeling away. Wonderful, up close, gonna deal with Magics. All right, maybe the retake's back on. Spawn is taken. There's just so many angles open in Na'Vi as they move in here. How will they know where to look? Shiro facing first, Donk left to clutch up. This is Na'Vi's chance to tie up the game. They risk it all in this 2v2.
And Shiro shuts them down. Spirit hold on to that lead.
Big impact round for Shiro, but again, it's Donk on the double entry, man. Swings out Palace on that smoke fade, timing and con. Well coordinated by Team Spirit, caught by Chopper, who gets all the room to set Donk up. No one's looking his way, bit scared of the connector. Donk gets a double entry and puts that bomb down. This time in the right place. And the right time to win a rifle round. Like you said, that had been 5 straight for Na'Vi. Spirit are now back in.
Na'Vi burned their final timeout.
We're not that deep in the game. There's still a lot more rounds to be played, so it's a big risk. The Blade knows they don't fix this right now. Spirit can run away on the T side.
I think Blade knows that this round decides so much. Guys stood behind Na'Vi rosters as they've won in Katowice. And so he knows if there was going to be a turning point in this game, if Na'Vi want to stay in Mirage for that much longer, they need to find success right here, right now. This buy is full of limitations. You've got to seize every opportunity you're given. Wonderful, trying to force fights early on that AWP. As is often the case, Spirit, they go slowly. And it's the right way to play this round. There wasn't a lot of util for Na'Vi coming into it.
I like to stack here. You know, you don't have a kit, so you've got to kind of gamble on a bomb site and hope you make the right read. 3 players in A, they're all on the right line.
One thing was clear from how this started, it's that Wonderful is feeling pressure to get involved on that AWP. He wants to be the first guy firing off in this round, but he's been smoked off, he's been avoided, and instead Spirit set their sights over towards B. It's only JL here.
Probably
he had 3 kills coming into this second half, but right here, right now, JL holds the line with a double kill. Chopper, a potent backstab, that's going to waste a lot of time from Na'Vi.
I don't know if he's clear. It's going to waste time for Spirit as well as Na'Vi gets set up. I said no kit, it will be a problem, but Spirit are burning their own clock to clear this position. Bomb goes down, and Na'Vi have to make a very difficult call. Do we stay or do we go?
The entire comeback comes down to whether or not you go for this 3-on-3.
Your heart says no. Your brain says no. And Na'Vi back out.
They're playing for the future. They're playing to try and turn this one around late in the day. But that means Spirit reached double digits. And that silent streak from the 8-2 lead that Spirit once held, they start to regain some of the momentum here.
And again, it's a really solid call for Chopper because he knows that this is a weak buy. They're not going to have the util. They can't play this mid-control fight against us. They can't spam flashes, come out the con smoke like they often do. So Spirit just contact all the way into that B site from short. JL's double is not enough. Somehow. And Team Spirit enter double digits. Na'Vi sinking into their seats, have to rely on just 3.
Well, look, even going into that last round, Wonderful was putting himself in a lot of high-octane positions. He wanted to be that first man fighting on the AWP. This round, that becomes even more important, so they're going to tee him up with a boost in the apartments. JL's called for a bit of help. The AWP on this line, this is a powerful tool for Na'Vi. Wonderful has to hit this shot, but if he does...
It's very hard.
Oh, a quick flick for Wonderful, and he gets out of there. No trade back the other way. It's Alexi. These hero guns doing the damage. Spirit,
they have time to reconsider. They don't have to commit to this. They know 2 of these guns are in the B site, but they plan on following through. They stick to their guns. Will they come to regret it as now they enter Wonderful in Alexi's domain? It's only Shiro left. The last man standing from the Spirit ranks, and he's boxed in. 3 guns was all Na'Vi had, and they do all the heavy lifting.
That seems so stubborn for Spirit. I can't believe they commit with that as well. You lose Donk on that first shot, double scoped, still gets the kill. And Spirit, they had so much time on the clock, they still commit. These are the sloppy rounds we saw against VP yesterday, where Spirit cost them economy, it cost them a stomp on map 2.
And these were the rounds that were frustrating Spirit, right? When we heard in the interview after that game.
Magic said bad ideas, bad communication, bad everything.
Navi able to chip away at these little issues cropping up for Spirit.
Wow, how's he done that?
No idea. Back of the pack as well. Had to bend the bullet around Chopper.
Oh,
Tag. In the meantime, Alexi now softened up as well.
He wants to go. But that smoke tells you there's two in the site. They're not fighting for middle, so call it off. You know you're in a great position given the little you've brought into this round. A hero orb, 4 pistols, a tag, and a kill. Spirit make anything out of this. Shiro, the difference maker, scoped on Con, but the timing comes wrong as he gets caught.
Oh no. Hold on a second though. Couple of kills back and forth, and now Wonderful needed that. He had to get a handle back on Donk. Down in the bottom of mid, Shiro with the orb. Got his one in the round. He knows where these players are. He's going to try and use this to his advantage. Right now, they're bogged down on clearing middle. Shiro has an open runway into this B play. Alexi and Wonderful have no idea. They're holding their ground.
He knows one's low. Will he believe the site is free?
I mean, if
diligently clearing.
If he gets this bomb planted, Shiro in a post plant with the orb, you feel like this suits him. And he's going to take an aggressive line. Move towards the apartment, market rather, but decides against it. Steals himself away.
It's a good spot. You wouldn't expect it. Pretty crazy for an orb.
He's got to nail both of these shots. Na'Vi are going to be keen to trade it, but he plucks Wonderful out the back. Shiro's Gambit just teed up Spirit for that win. That is a wild 1v2 from Shiro. And a crushing blow to Na'Vi as they try and build back into this game.
It does just feel like yesterday. They lose the silliest round, and then they come through with an eco and an orb, and they run over Na'Vi with a clutch. They may not be the fan favorite. Spirit don't give a damn. They're here for the back-to-back. They're here for Na'Vi's map. They are here for revenge for the group stage. Having to fight through a stressful quarterfinal. Time to relieve the tension here. Again, the contact a split.
Tip of the spear is Donk. You know you're lucky to still be alive, but not for long. Donk opens. Wonderful feeling the pressure. Backs up into the spawn. JL tries to make a move in the meantime, but spotted on his push out. The catwalk, Donk turns and deals with him. 23 kills deep for Donk. He makes a play to try and steal this one away. Clean tap. Na'Vi picked apart. And only Bit remains in with the backstab. Donk has no idea he's here as they cross paths in this smoke. Has managed to find Zontix. Bombs planted B. Bit doesn't know this. Committed to clearing the A site. He knows this is where Spirit were. Getting boxed in now for a Magic's over on short. Bit just doesn't know where to look. And this round, a sad ending for Bit. As he is boxed in, there was no right move to make.
Donk is just undeniable. Donk is despicable right now. The rounds that he's pulling out on this T side, it feels like every gun round that Spirit have won has been off the back of 2, sometimes 3 entries for Donk. Zontix had a great half on short on the CT side, but this T side has split the difference. Donk is the guy. A formidable foe for Na'Vi. The main character of this matchup.
The chance is never going to get better for Spirit to close this map out. Na'Vi arrive trying to defend themselves from a rough loss on their home map to open up this semi-final, and they arrive with nothing but pistols and SMGs. This is the best path to victory Spirit are gonna have. They're gonna group, play this one together. Na'Vi trying to get maximum value from this limited util they've got. All those smokes deployed now.
And last time Spirit were on this round when Na'Vi had low econ, they went for the mid take, so Na'Vi are trying to meet them there. They're trying to hit some deeks here as util gets thrown in, but this is all a farce again. Spirit are sneaking behind a smoke. Chopper has called rings around this game, and even as Na'Vi start to realize and put their pieces in the right place, they get cut down one by one. One falls after the other. Na'Vi are slipping through the net. They cannot hang on.
Donk entry is not even required in this final round of Mirage. Backstab from Chopper should seal the fate of Na'Vi. They might have beat them in the group stage, but this semi-final is a slow start for Na'Vi. Their home map of Mirage stripped away by an in-form Team Spirit. And they're not spirits, they're demons. Demons that Na'Vi cannot outrun.
Come closer. Yasim, come closer.
Holding car. Holding car.
Flash,
Maybe I'll run before. Yes. Flash.
Flash.
Flashing.
I'm aiming short only.
Short one.
Make short.
Kitchen. Kitchen. Chopper, half HP. And short deep.
Short.
That's right. Let's go now. Come. Come. I'm shadow. One. 2 CT. 3 CT. 2 CT. 2 CT. One more CT.
Jungle.
Super.
20 seconds.
Jungle.
Stand, you have time, please.
Dead.
Stairs, jungle.
Guys, is it possible we would take space faster? They fully let us to go CT.
Bro, that's
Smokes faded, guys.
Guys, need to put.
Nice, boys! Nice!
Nice, блядь,
That's
давай
a
now.
fucking star!
Let's go, guys, let's go.
давай.
Pistol.
Guys,
No,
he did-
everything fair. Let's
First
go.
bullet in the smoke, it's crazy.
Like it.
Keep me on the
Chopper.
connector.
Guys, 3 on 3.
Boom! King on the connector, one guy. Pick
Sound,
connector with me.
ramp. I have con.
Okay, I can pick on
Sound,
you.
sound.
ramp.
I can pick on you.
I have con.
I pick on you, bro.
Run to you guys. Could be CT,
I
right?
need to pick still. Yes, Roger.
Wonderful nails the shots that are presented to him. Ema and Bit stepping up as required. Again, unrelenting double kill. Shira left alone, and it is Na'Vi that strikes first. JL, who said he wanted this win so much, takes one step in that direction, and Na'Vi qualify into the Spodek.
Spirit take away Navi's map pick of Mirage. It will not happen twice, they say, that you get your victory on this map. And Navi, they tried to resuscitate the situation, but in the end it was Donk at the beginning, in the mid, And at the end, too, I don't want to say kill all the hopes and dreams because that would be very unfair to Na'Vi, but to start it in this way, Pim, that is a statement.
It is a statement from Dunk. Obviously, we brought a little time talking about him coming into the game, and there's no looking away from the fact that he's right now playing some world-class Counter-Strike. The impact he was able to transpire in that game, we saw in the very first pistol round. You know, it looked like an Na'Vi round. All of a sudden, Dunk pops up, secures Spirit the first 2-3 rounds of the game. It was just overall a very strong performance from Dunk. And then when Sontix came into the mix as well, and they were both playing well, that's when you saw the real strength of Spirit.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to forget Zontix. I was going to have to bring that one up because he was a monster in the early going. Yep. Like, what are you supposed to do? And look, I'll just say this. It felt very much like the first 8 rounds of that map was like, Na'Vi came into this, we heard very confident. That confidence was nowhere to be found inside the server for the first 8 rounds. Zontix destroyed him. Donk did work. Spirit just ran a train on Na'Vi's defense, and there was no coming back from any of it.
There absolutely wasn't, and it is one of those things when sometimes you step into the Spodek for the first time and the other team has already done it. That can happen, but was it just that, Pimp? I think time will tell. We cannot know yet if it's just that Spirit is leagues above Na'Vi in this game. I choose not to believe that.
I don't think Spirit necessarily is leagues above Na'Vi in the aspect of the game. We saw Na'Vi claw their way back into the game as well. We saw a bit of that resilience coming in. It was from different playmakers as well. Ima had a couple of good rounds. Jail had a moment. We saw pretty much all Na'Vi players try to chime in, but we prefaced it as well. The difference between Spirit and Na'Vi is that Spirit have the best player in the world. They have a player that can dictate the game, and if anyone from Spirit, whether that being Shiro, Sontix, Chopper for that matter, or Magic, steps up alongside Dunk, there's just too much firepower, too much impact coming from different directions for Na'Vi to handle. So I do feel like the ceiling of Spirit is slightly higher than Na'Vi, but it's almost unrealistic and unfair to expect that to transpire into map 2 and map 3 as well, because it's just very tough to keep on such a high level if you're Dunk and Sontix for that matter.
And also, I mean, I don't expect Na'Vi to come in cold to map 2. Like now you've had a map under your belt. Now you should be coming into it warmed up. I think more than anything, this opening map was more a shift in attitude from Spirit in the group stage versus the playoffs. Now they came to play. We saw in the group stage on Mirage, Spirit like to delay and harass and kind of negate out the first timing of utility on Mirage. Here in this map, they just challenged everything so early. They won so many early engagements in the rounds. The kills top A ramp when Na'Vi was trying to attack into the A bomb site, pushing middle, being aggressive in middle. So this time they provided resistance rather than just delaying.
Yeah, and I just have to point out after watching this Dunk highlight as well, you know, imagine being a Spirit player and you're sitting next to Dunk. Not only does Dunk play well, not only does Dunk have impact on the server, but if you're Shiro, if you're Chopper, you're sitting next to him and you're thinking, yeah, we're gonna win this, you know, when he's playing like that, we're gonna win this. So Dunk is not only doing well for himself, he's also installing a bit of confidence in the players around him, which we saw Sontix pick up on pretty from the get-go.
Yes, they all did it, I want to say, in this match. And we talked so much about how you only have small windows of opportunity when Spirit is playing like this. And there was such an interesting sequence, I think, when Na'Vi was on the CT side and they were fighting their way back. We had that round 16. Do we make the choice to go or not? The economy may hang in the bounds. It may not. It ends up in one going great for Wonderful. But the next one, Shiro clutches the 1v2. Then Donk closes the door. And it must be very frustrating for Na'Vi.
I mean, Zontix said it leading into this in the little hype clip. He was just like, if they're not playing their best game, they're going to lose. And that's what we had today. And you're exactly right. Spirit did a great job breaking momentum. Na'Vi never actually got on like a super large streak into the game. Early on in their own defensive half, did some pretty good things. But more than that, it's just round after round of Donk testing and challenging everything. Spirit being aggressive, being assertive, being confident, working together. And that was too much for Na'Vi to overcome. And I think you also heard like an indication right before we went live with this segment when we hear the players talking in the game. And Alexi's like, guys, come on, can we take more space? They're giving it to us. It's there. And I think you're feeling a Na'Vi that came into this game. Yeah, maybe they felt confident, but again, it's not reflected inside the server because they're not always pushing forward and taking that space. And that's going to be very frustrating for Alexi and Blade and what they're trying to accomplish.
And this is one of the rounds I was talking about, the position that Shiro takes. And I know we've criticized him in the past for situations just like this, but it is clean.
It's very clean. The first kill, he's getting towards window. He kills the right player. He kills the one player with HP. He's being told by his teammate the last player is very low on HP. Pulls out the Glocks, clutches the round, makes it 11-9. At that point, you know, that game was close. That could have been Na'Vi coming back into the game. We got to give a bit of credit to Na'Vi for at least showing a bit of tenacity in that second half. They win the pistol, they convert. Again, as I said, different players were chiming in, different players were stepping up. Had Shiro not won this 1v2 clutch, I'm not necessarily sure we wouldn't be playing still, maybe even in an overtime. So as much as I want to say that Spirit were dominating, they were the better team, and they most definitely did deserve to win. It wasn't like Na'Vi didn't have a chance to come back into the game.
No, but again, it comes back to that first half, and you're just in too big of a hold. Like, yeah, it looked great in the second half, but it's like you're already down way too much, and it's so hard to come back from that kind of a stretch. And as much as we just saw the clutch from Shiro, as much as he's been criticized, and there's probably some life to it about his kind of the more passive nature of his play, one area where he's always going to be rock solid is those clutches. He's happy to play those kinds of situations and delivers very well. We saw JL also in the first half have that opportunity for a clutch with the Deagle against Zontix as well. And that's one thing where I always said JL steps up. This is where he delivers. Na'Vi needs some life. It's JL's turn. Gets a 1D, loses out in the clutch right at the end. And that's a moment for Na'Vi to turn it around early. That goes to waste.
That's a great point. We were waiting for it. I think it was almost like the reverse caster curse where they said, oh, he's not been playing that well. Boom, he gets that round and it goes better. Now to parlay that because you don't have that much time. This is not a best of 5 like it is tomorrow. And Dust too, you cannot afford to get off to the same start there, Pimp.
No, we need to see Na'Vi step it up a little bit, and I'm very curious to see how the whole map is going to be played out over towards the B-bomb side. We know what's going to happen towards long, depending on the spawns, depending on how aggressive you want to fight it from either side. One thing I've seen Spirit do a lot when it comes to Dust 2, especially in this season where they've been picking it a lot, is they want to poke that B-bomb side. Dunk feels comfortable walking in from dark in towards B-bomb side and just take the straight-up duels. We saw it in the first game as well. JL, I wouldn't say had his number, but JL was holding up to himself. He had a couple of mega rounds, shut down Dunk, shut down Spirit. I bet you Dunk want to try that one more time. If they can poke a hole in that B defense, that means Na'Vi have to spread out. That means they can't afford to locate too much power towards long, too much towards A, and that's going to make it very difficult for Na'Vi to play the CT side.
It's a tough defense to crack into, though. If you're Na'Vi on the CT side, it's what JL and Bid on that side of the map. That's not an easy defense to break into, but that will be intriguing because Spirit do like to attack into that position. Remember in the group stage too, this was actually a pretty dominant map for Spirit until JL arrived and had like 2 or 3 impactful rounds, and it caused a comeback.
Yep.
So I mean, this in my head does lean towards the favor of Team Spirit, but like you, I have like my attention of where this map gets dictated is Xbox area, double doors, catwalk, which team is going to be more staunch in their defense, which team is going to be able to harass the most before giving them access to catwalk, because then the map gets exploited.
It's interesting to me how the conversation shifted a little bit because beforehand we were talking so much about the individual, specifically Donk on Spirit, but also the others, and the Na'Vi as the sum being greater than all the parts and the teamwork. But now all I'm hearing is, well, we need JL to clutch and we need JL to make those rounds happen. So
your parts have to be there. Your parts have to be there. They weren't on Mirage. On Dust 2, they have to be.
All right, good point. Well, we've got someone on the sidelines getting us some exclusive info. It's Trace.
Just got some words here from Blade as we go to look towards that second map of this series. Now, Blade's saying that they are looking at a case of a little bit of anti-stratting going on in their way. As you can see, Na'Vi not picking up that first map. So what they're looking out to do now is try to get ahead of that curve going into the second map of the series. Instead of starting a little bit flat, maybe coming through and applying the pressure where necessary.
Yeah, the pressure definitely needs to be applied. Where do we need to look at?
I think I want to throw a player into the mix we haven't spoken too much about, and that's Emma. Throughout the season in 2025, on the CT side for Na'Vi, every single game he's played on Dust 2, he starts off the game by being super aggressive towards catwalk. He's getting boosted, he's getting aggressive, he's getting out towards middle. You said the Xbox area, he wants to contest that from a CT point of view. He's been very successful with it against lesser opponents than Spirit. He was doing it against Spirit as well the first time around when they met in Copenhagen. I want to see Emma show that tenacity. I want to see him show that confidence that he can take the duel towards Spirit and win it, because that's big part of the passion and big part of the playbook for Na'Vi on the CT side.
Okay, a focal point going into Dust 2. It is Na'Vi with their backs against the wall, against the ropes, but they aren't done yet here in Katowice.
What's your name? Lee. Lee, mate, nice to meet you. What's it like being part of the best crowd in esports? If you're not here, you're not living. Let's go, the boys!
All right, for now, we're going to send it away.
Let's show the world why we're the best crowd! You're champions!
The Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2025. Counter-Strike has been all over the place, to say the least, but I can tell you one thing for sure, and that is where we are in this moment in the Acer Media Lounge, located on the concourse here in Katowice, but definitely in between games, so we're going to try to catch up with our friends at Acer, Predator, and Intel. How are we doing today? Should I go ahead and introduce you as Mr. Nico?
Yeah. I am Nicola Procaccio and EMEA CCG Marketing Director for Intel.
Awesome. Welcome to Poland. And yourself, Valerie?
I'm Valerie Pio, and I'm Acer EMEA Marketing VP.
Everywhere I turn, there's gadgets and computers and gaming going on for the most part. But seeing what the best gaming has to offer is, I think, where you guys come into play, if I had to be honest.
Well, I think that thanks to the historical collaboration with Acer, our mission is exactly to introduce on the market device like the Predator that can enable the best gaming experience, thanks also to our processor technology. And this is the example, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got this cool box. We might as well ask ourselves the big question in the room. What's in the box? Let's take a look, shall we? Ooh la la.
Be careful with the latest baby, huh?
Don't worry. I'll hold it like it's my own child. Okay, so if I open this bad boy right out of the gate, it's got a very sleek screen.
So indeed, this is the new Predator Helios Neo 16 that we are announcing here in Katowice. As you can see, it comes with latest Intel Core Ultra 9 processor.
Our latest Intel Core Ultra processor technology enable not only the best gaming experience, but also they can provide a big, massive leap ahead in terms of power efficiency, and this will result in offering a longer unplugged playtime for the gamers.
Which is exciting. As a Counter-Strike player, I think we've been looking at CPU usage for a long time and trying to make our game work the best, but every time it's come to fruition. I do have to ask a couple of questions. You said gaming efficiency. So tell me a little bit about where that starts and where it stops.
In this case, we are trying to combine the performance with the power efficiency, also in terms of gaming performance and power reduction. And this is what we can get thanks to the Intel Core Ultra processor 9 Series 2.
Well, so on top of the Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, of course, it features an NVIDIA latest RTX 50 series in order to make sure that we improve the FPS performance. And it comes with a stunning OLED panel up to 240 Hz, 0.1 milliseconds. So beautiful, but yet very fast.
I think that's why it's just got me. I can't stop looking at it. I'm going to be honest, I can't stop looking at it in this moment. It's just got me captivated. But also see the two letters that get thrown around a lot in this day and age. And they start with A and end with I. So AI, how does AI tie in to the product here?
The AI features are built into the new latest Intel Core Ultra processor. Thanks to 3 AI accelerators, you can guarantee the best gaming experience, but at the same time, you can also offload some specific AI workload or AI task like background removal, audio optimization, or auto framing to the MPU.
Acer Predator Helios is right here for the taking. And let me just show everyone at home, because I did say it was a beautiful screen, and I wasn't joking. So we'll continue to look around the Acer Media Room. I think that there's plenty of things to explore around here, to be honest.
It's true. Thank you for joining us and for welcoming me in this session. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it, Valerie.
Let's check it out.
So where are we, Valerie? What have you done here?
Here are the most powerful gaming gears.
Okay.
The Predator Helios 16 and Predator Helios 18 AI.
Okay, so they're not only related, but they also have artificial intelligence.
They also have artificial intelligence, and the most important, they have the world's thinnest metal blades. So it's the 6th gen of our aero blades, and it improves the whole airflow in the device. And actually, we even put 2 in this 18-inch form factor, which improve the airflow by 20%.
So you're not worried about overheating, playing with this in your lap as a laptop would be, none of that?
Absolutely no issue. You can be a hardcore gamer and have no issue with the overheating.
All right, so whether it's the Predator Helios 18 AI or the Predator Helios 16 AI, it seems as though all the bells and whistles and pretty much anything that you can think of has been covered.
Yeah, those 2 laptops which are powered by Intel just offers you the best of the best. Any hardcore gamer would just be happy to replace their desktop at such powerful machine. So.
That is a bold area, replacing that desktop with a laptop, but the best of the best, you couldn't go wrong. I want to say thank you not only to Acer Predator, Valerie, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Also want to say thank you to our friends at Intel for making this all very possible. And above all, Counter-Strike. That's where we're going right after this. The Intel Extreme Masters marches on. Thank you.
Cheers.
Na'Vi believe in this team and this group of players. When this roster was assembled, they took many a gamble, hoping that JL and Ema could replicate one-off major form, that Alexi could finally find success with an international squad, that Bit could cope with being in an international roster, and the Wonderful would fill the boots of Simple. That sentiment carried over after Shanghai. One of the few squads that didn't make changes, that felt like this five had the capacity and ability to win it all. To do that, they have to quell this one-sided head-to-head. They have to rise up and beat Spirit on Spirit's home map. Katowice and its Hall of Heroes might crumble at the hands of Counter-Strike's biggest, scariest, most twisted villain. If Na'Vi don't turn this around, then Donk will be in back-to-back grand finals in the Spodek.
Katowice, are we ready for Dust 2? Let's get into it. The final boss of Spirit, Na'Vi, trying to exercise their demons. And it's a CT side start on Counter-Strike's most classic map for a classic matchup. A rivalry a year in the making. A matchup that gets harder every single time. We saw the familiarity on Mirage. Can Na'Vi break that curse, or will Spirit continue in their nightmares? Going back to a B hit. Little push up for Donk, might push this player down. That loses Na'Vi info early. They block both sides of the map. They don't let Spirit in.
To remember how this semi-final started, it was Donk turning around the pistol to open up Mirage. Turning heads as he opened up the semis. You don't want Donk to get off to another start like that if you're Na'Vi. This time you've got to deliver in the pistol. Mid-take getting lined up here for Team Spirit. The pressure about to be applied. It's Bit and it's JL to try and withstand this. Oh, he's dead immediately as Donk clean taps. Open runway now, only JL left standing. The B site crumbles. Shiro might get left behind, but he's still knocking Na'Vi out. And that is the worst case start for Na'Vi.
This guy blows my mind every single time I watch him play. Just double dink on the window jiggle. There's no room. There's no time to react. You are gone. You are done. The pistol is over. Na'Vi did everything they could to stop the bleeding there. Double smokes blocking both sides of the map down to the final few. And Spirit still break in without a single casualty. Na'Vi could get weird here. They saved a bunch of Kevlar. If they want to buy some scouts, SMGs, throw them over. There are certainly options in round 2. Wonderful armed. Will Spirit allow him to be dangerous?
They want to explode out long, but Na'Vi are ready for this. Very heavily stacked over at the long side. Dog doesn't get out with more than one. So Spirit's first move does not pan out. Instead, now they put their faith in Chopper. He's got a teammate here alongside him, looking like he wants to walk contact into this B site. JL's Deagle on the line. First shots miss. Damage done. He's got support. Not alone in this battle is JL. There's wonderful scout to shut down the push. Shiro, it's a losing effort here. Na'Vi offset early on Dust 2. And it's thanks to Wonderful with that scout. You asked if they would let him be deadly. He does not disappoint.
Yeah, no choice for Spirit, just popping through the B smoke, trying to move their models around, but not enough to stop that open doorway. Wonderful hits every necessary shot. It's a far better feeling for Na'Vi coming through with a round this early. Took them till their first buy last time around. Wonderful will eat the shot down middle. And the call is made, so Spirit don't look a gift in the mouth. They just walk out mid, knowing this damage is done. It has forced Wonderful passive. Na'Vi are flying blind right now. They don't know what Spirit are doing. And mid to be smoke again forces a lot of util out of Na'Vi. Spirit look to recommit the second time around.
Spirit have been obsessive with these B plays. I feel like this is where they can exploit. Na'Vi's Dust 2. Now, last time Bit was in this position, he got double dinked immediately. Never even got time to fire a bullet, did Bit. This time, chance to fire off at least. Spots them crossing over in middle. Flashes in over the top, but Bit following on the first. There's the trade for JL. He's gonna keep the round even at least. But Magic's ready to cut down these rotates. First kill connects. With Magic's up close, there's support out of the window and picked apart, and Na'Vi.
No rest for the Wicked. We're trading rounds now. Off the back of a well-placed Deeg shot from Donk. Team Spirit follow up. And everything falls into place.
I mean, Spirit said they were saving up the emotions for this exact game, and I think they've delivered on that so far.
Seeing them, Chopper's going crazy in the cams. Can Wonderful get weird? Look like we're not going to have this mid to be default anymore. Spirit actually tried to take Cat. They've got Magic's lurking long. The long pop in round 2 was pretty crazy, but doing something a bit slower after Na'Vi have used their util. It's a far safer call here for Spirit. They get out mid again. Clearly abusing this position, but not willing to commit. If they go back, it's into a stack.
Looking like they want to go late long. I mean, they've had Magic's waiting there all round. Bomb's going to join with him. And so Spirit will have that control. Na'Vi are only playing for short. They've conceded the site, so they need these kills. They need this control. This is the whole area they're going to have to play around this A here. Shiro let loose over in middle while the rest of Team Spirit run it up the long side. Na'Vi don't need to all in this yet. They can wait, they can group here. 4v4 with a player lost in the back lines, but Donk smoke spam will connect. Shiro still to play into this a little bit later. All the way over at B is committed to this backstab. Well, we don't know it, but they're about to start getting shot in the back. Wonderful. Oh my God, knife pulled, and Shiro takes his chance. JL gets one back with the Deagle, but goes no further. It's Shiro, the mid-man, keeping Na'Vi at bay, never even able to attempt this retake. So Bit has no choice but to run for the hills. Get away from Team Spirit.
I love that. You don't see much flair from Shiro in those moments, but Shows a bit of ego here. Knifes the Orpik counterparts. Valuable for reasons in and outside of the server. It's a crazy lurk to go on while Spirit go for the late long, knowing Na'Vi have nothing to stop them. And it wouldn't be a Spirit round without Donk just shooting someone through the smoke. Spirit come out swinging in this game. They win the money game early. And crazily enough, this is a team that wins 60% of the rounds they play on the CT side of Dust 2. This is a T-sided map. This is a T-sided meta right now, and Spirit are very good at defense on Dust. Spelling a very strong map for Team Spirit. Not what Na'Vi need to hear.
Oh, Alexi's going to get this info too late. Jumping up, but they're already in.
Oh.
Okay, Alexi gets one with the USP. This is a full eco for Na'Vi. Surely it doesn't get anything else going. These are only USPs right now.
Panicking.
This is not going according to plan. Spirit needs someone to open up the back door. A way out. Bit falls down in lower tunnels. That opens up the route to this B site. Shiro holds for the rotates in. They're looking to keep this one secured after all, but the spam connects for Alexi B. Nate picked up. He could blow this open.
So blind.
Doesn't deploy it yet, and that's given them precious time. The flashes wreck Alexi, but there's one of their own. They flash through. These USPs are finding it, and it's Alexi, the captain, with this AK. Battling back for Na'Vi. Magic's in this clutch, the clutch that never should have been. A full eco run from downtown. It's Alexi B to find him.
We called him the Grenadier for so long. So good with the HEs on this very map. And he wins a round off of it just like that. One little jump up cap for Donk, one moment in air. Alexi plucks him out the sky, and he goes on to blow Magic's out of the round.
It's not every day that one round can so plainly re-energize a team, but winning a full USP eco. The saved MP9 didn't even get to fire a bullet. That will put the wind back in Na'Vi's sails.
Yeah, I mean, Na'Vi, we know how strong they are mentally. This is a team that even when they lose the craziest rounds, they can come back in and just take the most decisive victory. Got a very good mentor on this roster. But I'm sure there's other factors playing in to this game as well, just knowing how one-sided it often is, how hard you had to graft to even take Team Spirit to 3 maps. But a full eco win like that early in the game will have its consequences.
I mean, we talked about the Spirit frustration. A round like that's going to get under your skin. Let's see if Na'Vi are able to capitalize. This can be the start of a streak for Na'Vi.
Spirit have forgotten the bomb on their default, so this will slow everything down, but not for Donk. Just taking a quick pace, walk out mid, converts the spray, 25 bullets in. Still gets traded, but given how that started, could have gone a lot worse. Na'Vi breathe a sigh of relief. They even push through the lurk smoke at B. That is huge information. They're re-clearing middle so they can cross out. JL coming from lower. This AWP is still here because the bomb was back in spawn. Spirit is still in middle. Na'Vi would expect them to all be up long or cat right now. As they start to take that space, JL gets ready to flank, and Spirit look for this entry. Oh no! Oh dear!
Spot, but that was his best chance to open up the route into this. Now they know he's deep on long. Na'Vi changed this crosshair.
Ouch.
They all home in on Magix over at the long side. Attention taken away. Magix makes his move. And JL just too late to the party here. 1v4, site already lost. They might have found a quick trade on Donk down in middle, but there's more behind this Spirit squad. Magix does a great job of recovering from that missed chance out the long side.
Magic's on a long cross. We've seen plenty of highlights there. Even nearly closed Shanghai in that very position. The rounds just keep trading back and forth. No clear victor. We can't rely on more eco wins here for Na'Vi. They need to get going now.
Timeout from Na'Vi. Is this second map similar kind of ebb and flow to how Mirage started? There has been chances for Na'Vi. Chances for them to be the ones in pole position right now, but all those make or break rounds being won by Spirit. Spirit gifted with the T-side start as well. CT money is punishing. The resources Na'Vi can bring into each of these rounds gets less and less as time goes on. Does Blade have the answers?
Shiro attempting the cross shot, doesn't connect. Again, bomb back in spawn seems more like a preference than a mistake at this point. Spirit again in no hurry. Been doing a lot of mid control in this game of Spirit. Na'Vi on the other side haven't been aggressive at all, haven't challenged, haven't pushed into lower, come up with aggressive cat plays other than the low econ rounds.
Something in the note here for Na'Vi is that both of these SMGs are in like the extremity positions. You have Alexi at long, JL waiting near tunnels. Expect at some point in this round, maybe a bit of aggression from one of these MP9s as Na'Vi try to piece together what's going on. Wonderful doesn't fire off on that flashbang. That could have been the opener. It's kept even in the 5v5 as no one's able to capitalize on it. Info flash over at Short. There's the info. Chopper lets them know that Short's been taken. That's the exact reaction that Na'Vi were hoping for.
This is a weak setup right now. They're so focused on middle because of how Spirit have been playing. If they just commit to this cat take, it could go wonderfully. Wonderful, pulling back just in the nick of time. Does Spirit commit? Or do they just send a guy down into spawn? They've still got this lurk far away. Flashes blanket the bomb site. Ema hiding in the smoke and on the break. He finds everything and nothing at the same time. It's Donk with another crucial entry and Wonderful on the clock.
Boxed in, they're getting ever closer. He has Alexi floating around, but here's another one of these backstabs. This time it won't stick the landing for Zontix. Don't have that be the undoing, Spirit. Oh, God, Wonderful's quick. One back the other way, and Donk fitting the herd. It's all left on a bit, low on health, but not without hope. Wow. There's Chopper swinging wide to silence him.
Can't believe Chopper just repeats that as well in the post plant when he's been fired at. Despite the whiff on the flank, despite letting Wonderful get away with murder back from ramp, it is still Spirit clawing into the round. And that is money gone. Hope may die last, but the economy dies first here for Na'Vi. They have nothing in this round.
These diamond hands have the shakes for Na'Vi. They're out of the picture in this round. They will get dodged entirely. Full B lean from Na'Vi. And Spirit move into this empty A side of the map. They've already won this round. This tees them up in a really good spot on this T side. 6-2 up already. Chances to keep sweetening the deal.
You can really feel the conditioning that those first 3 or 4 rounds of this T side have done to Na'Vi. They're now so focused on middle in the last couple of rounds. Sure, it's an eco here. They're going for a gamble, but even in the previous, leaving just a 2-man A hold that late in the round. And Wonderful only just getting back in time. Na'Vi is scared of the prospect of this mid to B because those are the most brutal rounds. Rounds that can just disappear off of 1 or 2 entries in the right place. The fact they're even ready for Zonzic's lurk in B in previous is evidence of that. So Spirit have got them on the chopping block. The in-game leader, keep the calls coming.
The one thing that's been nice about this round for Alexi is a lot of time to talk to the rest of the team. Try and piece together what move do they want to make. How do they turn this around? Alexi's supposed to be the one with the answers.
Yeah.
But right now the problems have been layered. Spirit, constant mid-control, going back to some of these late long takes. They've had active B lurking. Na'Vi don't know where to look. Things go from bad to worse as Bit is caught on the cross shot now in this return to the rifles for Na'Vi.
Finances have been rough, right? We've talked about it all game long, and so Na'Vi don't feel like they want to risk, you know, wasting a nade on that mid-cross, but it is so worth it when you've got someone like Shiro going for these early picks. It's multiple rounds he's hit tags on this door. Na'Vi choose not to be the initiators, the aggressors. They sit in their sights. They wait for Spirit to come their way. Is this just another A retake cooking up?
I mean, this is what's so scary from that early condition, right? The mind games that Chopper's playing, the fact that he has called these relentless cat takes after putting the fear in Na'Vi about that B site early. And the whole time, it feels like Alexi is just waiting for this B hit. Are they going to jump CT? Chopper has the MAC-10 pulled, hopping in. He will get found. EMA opens. Finally an advantage heading into one of these retake rounds for Na'Vi. Now they have to do good on that opener that EMA's provided. Spirit have the route to the bomb plant. A man down. They can't peek long. They don't want to get caught bunched up on short. They need to try and fight Na'Vi as they move up through CT for this retake. EMA's going to be the first man in. Nades for Alexi, trying to soften them up. Zontic's knocked out. It's only Shiro left in the blink of an eye. 1v4. First shot lands. Shiro dinked. And running for the hills as Alexi comes through with the stick. Na'Vi finally land one of these A retakes. And it's more fancy nade work from the captain and Na'Vi to help get them there.
Really well patient, well communicated for Na'Vi. No one jumps the gun there. Chopper gives up the kill in CT. Surprisingly for Spirit, I thought they would realize that EMA was playing behind that smoke. They heard him cycle nades and spawn, but still, Na'Vi in a 5v4 do not waste the opportunity with almost no util. 3 kills in tandem. They look to come back into the CT side. There is still hope for Na'Vi.
I mean, you saw Hallie, the coach of Spirit, motor-mouthed in the timeout. He's got a lot to say. To try and maintain this lead for Team Spirit. They were 6-2 up. We'll do well to remember that here, as a defining moment in this semi-final is about to befall us. Na'Vi might have won that last round. They might have done so pretty cleanly, but their money has never moved away from the edge of being broken. This is their chance to stabilize. They failed to stick the landing on this round last time they were given this chance. Failure to do so here means this is a runaway T-side for Team Spirit.
Terrifying prospect. And again, Spirit get out mid unchallenged. I would still love one round, maybe right at the end of the half for Na'Vi to just send it into middle. Do something aggressive on catwalk. Challenge upper B. They've given Spirit a lot of room, but this round is a little different. Cat setup. Living and dying on this corner. Alexi B and Ema. Burning down the clock. But I mean, look at Spirit's utility. They've thrown absolutely nothing in this round. They've held on to all of their grenades. They can run multiple fakes. Keep Na'Vi guessing.
This is a test of resolve for Na'Vi. Chopper's done a lot of conditioning early on in this game. And so he's hoping that all this extra util spilling out in the mid is enough to spook Na'Vi. It hasn't. They've maintained the double cat setup. Donk could disrupt that right now. 2 kills on a plate for Donk, but he can't get a ring on them. It's Zontix moving in, lending that helping hand, opening up the short play. Wonderful. Ready to receive. Drop down into the spawn. Wonderful. Head on a swivel. Next fight coming up the catwalk, and Wonderful's ready for it. Only Magic's left. Nade might be good, but it's going to take more than that to stop Wonderful on this tear. Magix has had many clutches from this long position, but finally locked out of one. And an important round for Na'Vi as this comeback is on. Finally, they start streaking some rounds together.
Yeah, it's safe to say we've had a couple of players go missing in this game for Na'Vi right across the series. JL, very quiet to start. Ema's Lugs weren't doing too much on the T side, but right now Wonderful is trying to make a case to join Bit.
Now he gets his weapon of choice as well.
He's earned it.
Rifle gone, all bought out for Wonderful.
Ema considered getting aggressive there, but he had nothing to support him. D-Lug smokes up, terrifying. Nice to see JL use a pistol, save that ammo for later. Ema dumps his mag downrange into Chopper. Donk looking for vengeance. The Spirit just want to explode off this play. Na'Vi will not allow it. Util has been really good for Na'Vi in buying time, burning down the clock, blocking the short position. Again, they get closer. Alexi B in a high-risk angle. There's a flash primed over the top. Alexi caught with nades out, and there is no cover. There is no sanctuary in this site. Magic with the entry. Wonderful again must stand tall.
That shot sails past though. Wonderful's teeing up to play retake right now. His teammates all grouped over in the spawn, and that's where Zontix really could steal this round away before it even begins.
40.
They've been ready for the Zontix backstab once or twice, but this time Na'Vi's eyes are forward. They are looking for this retake. Zontix never takes his timing though, and if he never reacts, if he never goes here, might get left out of the picture altogether. Donk holding the line with 2. Here's Ema up the ramp side. They know that Zontix is on this ramp round, and he's gonna finish off the final man. Ema's time in the limelight. 4 kills on that retake. Na'Vi are believing.
They are winning the unwinnable rounds right now. They are winning the rounds where Donk is getting 2 kills on the entry or 2 kills in the post plant. There's a backstab too late for Spirit. And Na'Vi piece together every single kill. I don't know how they're in this game right now. Multiple rounds on this A site they had no business winning. And Ema puts another on the board. As rounds fly by, Na'Vi players give us a reason to believe in their Dust 2.
This was a 6-2 lead for Spirit. Spirit could have won this first half hard. Na'Vi have had to dig deep. We've had big moments from Wonderful, Alexi. Now Ema throwing his name out there.
And B was
be a difference maker. As Na'Vi try to tie this up, Spirit are finally the ones facing limitations in the final round of this first half.
B was how this game began. Mid to Bs, the upper lurks for Zontix. Spirit cycling these CT smokes. And they're going to go back to old reliable in the final round of the half. The last ditch attempt, they get caught off guard, but Ema can't connect the shot. Donk, lights out kill. Back they go. Spirit do not jump the gun, they take the 5v4.
On the roots of this comeback, there's been a few odd, uncharacteristic donk misses. At 11-9 in the first kill, in the last round of this first half going his way, this is where Donk needs to leave a mark.
They've pulled Na'Vi to the wrong position right now. Triple on A, and iced out in spawn is bit. It's really all on JL, but he doesn't know it. Wait, the bomb's going back.
I mean, they've got Shiro up long. Chopper's out in mid. They still have a player in the upper tunnels. This is getting indecisive for Team Spirit. In doing so, they might end up playing right into the hands of Na'Vi. They were 3 strong at this A site. Spirit was so close to dodging this, and instead they go right in to Wonderful's AWP. 2 kills found, that breaks even. Low HP on Team Spirit. Alexi, more impact found. Zontix and Chopper need to withstand this. Swing from Zontix could seal the deal. It's JL late. A slow start to this series from JL. Backstab, but not found. Can he hold on? Chopper has been spotted. JL with a chance for the equalizer. 1 bullet could end Chopper's round. And JL makes the connection. A tie game as JL delivers. Na'Vi are firing. Dust 2 is hot.
The head-to-head that just keeps on giving. Team Spirit versus Na'Vi, split down the middle on map 2. It felt like Spirit were going to cut the difference, and Na'Vi have come back in this game. We're here on Spirit's home map after taking Na'Vi's away. Can this international superstar squad hold up against Donk? Right now, they've got him in his crosshair.
Yeah, Spirit held a really convincing lead. Only for Na'Vi to go on a 4-round streak down the tail end of Dust 2 to close it up. And that's given them a fighting chance. Now Molly's going to force Donk further forward. You're a bit trapped in the lower tunnels with Ema. That's a fight that comes up in favor of Na'Vi. That's the big man removed. With Donk knocked out, a Spirit neutered. To represent a real change of tide in this series.
That's preparation there for Na'Vi more than anything. They know Donk loves to do that. We always see him on low with the Julies. So Na'Vi come out with that Molotov to clear out the most important piece of the Spirit ranks. Now they just try to suffocate this A site. The Lurker's going to learn the hard way, or maybe teach him a lesson.
But hang on a second, will they be ready for Magics?
Will it make a difference?
The double pit set up here. Spirit split the defense 2-2. They needed an individual to find success, and Bit is ready for the pit player.
Could Nuke be on the horizon? It's a huge question.
I mean, look, we talked about that 6-2 lead. The most rounds the Spirit were able to find consecutively amongst that was 3 rounds straight. Na'Vi now the ones taking the cake for the biggest streak found on Dust 2. They're up to 5 rounds in a row. With this being the pistol, they're going to find even more before the guns come back out for Spirit. The momentum sides with Na'Vi.
But the numbers still side with Spirit. 9-map win streak on Dust 2, taking out some of the best teams in the world, and it not even being close. I mentioned their CT win percent earlier, right? 60% of the rounds they play CT, they win. So this is a team that knows how to rock the defense. Let's compare again as we get into the second half. Think about how Na'Vi never took middle. They never tried to fight Spirit in the open and give Donk the chance to get those multi-kills. He had to rely on post plants to even get involved. Will Spirit be as relenting as Na'Vi, or do they want to cause chaos?
Triple long take early, but that's afforded. Kashiro is watching mid with this scout. Once they take long, they're going to go back and look to set themselves up actually in the site here. Some more of this lax mid control bought into this force by round. Spirit not looking to fight for that. Instead, playing within the site itself. They're going to go aggressive over on short. Ema is already here. Wonderful there to back him up as well. It's quite the stack on this short side. That molly denies the push.
Ooh. They're going anyway. Spirit forced into uncomfortable positions, range with SMGs.
Oh. They are being sent into a stack over at this A site.
Yeah, Magic spamming and then immediately going back to A. He wants them to come up cat. Spirit get what they want. Can they deliver?
They've dropped in a mid to be smoked, but that's not going to force any sort of rotate out of Team Spirit here. 5v4 on the hit. Donk opens on the Deagle. Tag down range, but it's all about Donk's Deagle. He's trying to tee up the man of Goose as well. Will that even be required? Donk. Distance getting close. There's Chopper, the nasty surprise. Donk keeps delivering. Wonderful with a response, sure, but JL is so far away. Wonderful's going to fight this alone, and he can't hold on. Into the stack. Go Na'Vi. And they come to regret it.
That's a trap right there, set and laid by Spirit. The perfect bait in middle for Magics. And Chopper hiding in the Goose the whole time while Donk gets his 1 Deeks on the cross. It couldn't be a better position for Spirit to win that force by round. Remember that first half, we had those trades back and forth to begin the game. So Na'Vi again are asked to clutch up with less. But this really is less. 1 scout, 4 Deagles on T-side dust.
Magic's up close. That is a convincing start from Bits Deagle. Enough to get them in over at long. JL now aggressive over in middle. Look at who he's up against. Donk's got him trapped into this corner. JL living on borrowed time. That flash maybe thinks, now he's gotten out. JL hangs around and will catch Donk. Shiro, they're getting ever closer. They're right here. He's got to provide and nothing found. It is a mirrored start to that first half as these teams trade back and forth. JL still present on this lurk. Spirit have not been able to find him yet. He's caused them nothing but issues.
Unbelievable.
He's even looking for a little bit more as JL.
Oh, it would be a lot more getting rid of these guns, but more importantly, arming yourself with the 2 rifles. Could be everything here. He's got donks at least. And Na'Vi bite back even harder, 5 alive.
I mean, this back and forth start adds a real bit of tension to this second half. If this keeps up, if we end up so deep that when a team finally loses, forced down to eco with a streak beginning, now you could be left with but 1 rifle round between you and this game being done. Na'Vi hold the smallest of edges right now.
Really nice bait for JL. Like you said, Donk felt like he crossed already back through the smoke with that flashbang. JL just stayed put. Donk getting humbled in this game a little bit, despite a very strong start to the series. Long take for Spirit. They hang around.
I mean, Long has firmly belonged to Bid. Whenever he's wanted to get away with this real estate, he's so often found it. Even now hanging around expecting aggression, and that is on the table for Team Spirit with 2 players starting there. If Na'Vi win this round, they're on double digits. So full eco for Spirit in the next. That's the chance that's been bestowed upon them. No one wants to be that first man to fall. They're respecting every PC util. And that util started to run out for Team Spirit. They can't delay this round any longer. They are now at the full mercy of the Na'Vi exec.
Yeah, this is pretty uncomfortable, to be honest, with no one making any moves. And given where Na'Vi are going, this looks like it's going to pan out for them. Spirit getting stuck on the long side. They need this kill cleanly. You said Bits had it every single time. Na'Vi sending it up catwalk, blanketing the site, and Molotovs have no issue getting in. Bit can win this round of a couple of kills right now, but Magix holds his own, and now things get interesting again. They've got a reason to go for it. A 5v4 when Na'Vi pull back. They have nowhere but sight and cats. Spirit come for the kills. Ema forces that equalization.
JL waiting, they're creeping closer, nearly catches Shiro out in the open. And things are getting awkward with Ema continuing to pain on JL now, swing it out. More confidence from Na'Vi. They can feel their fortunes changing. Money broken for Team Spirit. And this should be 10 rounds as good as done for Na'Vi.
Yeah, you said it. First team to get 2 in a row is going to be in a great position. You thought Spirit, after winning their force buy with Deagles and MP9s, would have changed the tune of this game, but Na'Vi have thrown it right back in their face. Looking to
now
run away.
They get something more explosive as well, right? Straight out the long doors, the change of pace from Alexi.
Been a very tempered T-side across this whole series for both teams. No quick plays, but this is a different call for Na'Vi.
This is a full eco for Spirit with the exception of one thing. Donk with a Deagle.
But it's only one guy, Harry.
Will he be the guy? Set up over at short. Na'Vi dropping these smokes. They make their move now. The Pistols have softened up that first man in, but it's JL to open. Donk is the one with everything to play for, the one with the deagle. A chance to find something here as he swings out cap, but Silence brought down low. Shiro boosted, ends up in the middle of the site. It's a bit of intrigue, sure, but it really had to be Donk if it was going to be anyone. First shot connects. Smoked off now. Don't give him the chance to fight. There is a gap on that smoke. He'll decide against it. Na'Vi, the only item they had to worry about, committed to this push out through the long doors as Donk comes for damage. Wonderful's in a good position to shut this one down. This was 6-2 in Spirit's favor. Ooh. Since that point, they have found but one round. That force buy in the second half. Other than that, it is a blanket of rounds from Na'Vi.
When you put it like that, it really does start to hit. And Spirit have but one chance, really, one option, and it's to win this 4-buy round, and even then, it's not going to be perfect. Shiro might not get his orb on this CT side. As Na'Vi swell and balloon into this game, getting bigger, badder, better.
It's rare in a game to have it so plainly laid out like this, but this is the moment where Spirit, if they want to keep Dust 2 going, they're picking this series. If they want to end it here and lock in those grand finals, they need success in this round, because if not, if they fall short, Na'Vi are right there, Nuke waiting in the wings. Long control already taken. Alexi has been changing the pace up in these last few rounds.
Well, if Spirit broke Na'Vi's map pick win streak of Mirage, it would only be right for Na'Vi to do it right back their way in this eternal clash. This featured a year of head-to-heads and a clear victor along the way. Spirit finally getting unearthed. Look at this contact into the B side. Zontic's ugly, messy spray converts it, but the player still makes it.
They don't know a second man made it out. The bomb is going back around to join him. Alexi's just faking on this side of the map, but he would love a kill. He would love to get away with even one, as IEM's been cleared. That bomb's out in no man's land. This is so awkward for Na'Vi. They have been picked apart on both sides of the map. For Bit and Wonderful. Oh no, hello, Donk. Gives a kill over. On a little jaunt out through middle, he's conceded a 5v2. Doesn't feel like the end of the world yet. But every misstep, every little error can lead to something. 30 seconds left here, and it feels like Na'Vi have written this round off. That one kill, not enough to entice them.
Oh, but they have money. I mean, it's going to have to be on the last second smoke hit. Does this shot connect? Wonderful waits. Round hangs in the balance, but he pops out. If he fired off there, you never know what could have transpired. Instead, it's Spirit locking in one more. Really good clear from Zontix and Chopper coming back to that B site and finding IEM in car before the bomb makes it out. They shut the door on that B hit before Na'Vi get in. Looks like they did know Molly on the car. Very prepared. And the lurk plays a little bit too soon. Spirit is still here.
Important timeout for Na'Vi. I mean, they know that if they won that last round, that could have been the game right there. That would have been Spirit gone, down and out for the count. Left hinging on a third map. Instead, Dust 2 requires a final push. Blade weighing in. Going over the game plan. Making sure this one doesn't come down to timings, doesn't come down to chances. Na'Vi need results. Lexi carries that burden of trying to execute on what was just discussed in the timeout. Wonderful scoped up for this early fight in middle, but nothing's given. Spirit will start to aggress. They haven't done this yet. They haven't come through with immediate CT aggression. This is all in response to that tac pause. They know that Na'Vi have ideas, have a play they want to make, and Spirit want to upset it. Hell of an opener from Donk. He throws himself in a maw. Shiro will be there to trade him. Na'Vi get this long control. They get what they were looking for, but they lose all these mid-fights. And with it, all the info over middle. For all they know, Spirit could be right behind them.
First aggressive CT round we've seen in nearly 20 rounds of play, and they're not going to stop at that. They want to go for the kill. They want to go for gold. Chop with another swing, sprays them down, and Team Spirit snuff Na'Vi out where they stand. Forget your game plan. Throw away your little strat book. Spirit are coming for the kill. Of course, it's Dong to make that happen as well. Such a tight line for Ema. It's a really hard shot getting swung there. And relentless rushing for Spirit puts them within a round of equalizing this map.
Oh, this is just the worst way for it to go for Na'Vi, right? They had the chance to break Spirit. Now it's them broken. Spirit, the ones chomping at the bit to tie the game up. Spirit, the ones reflecting that and how they play, with some aggressive moves finally coming through from the defending half. So if you are Spirit, this round should just be a formality. Kick the pistols aside. Look to win it all in the next. For minute one of entering this tournament, Spirit's focus has been on getting back to that trophy, back to the grand final, and a chance to lift it again. There's one smoke for Alexi B to try and make this round at all interesting, but wherever they go, the odds are against them.
What can you do? Lurk, smoke, and B, and just try and power through it with multiple players. That's kind of your best bet right now. Nothing to stop them, but this AWP, Zontix has a full belt. He could even break it. Zontix's nades are crucial in this round. That molly sets them up perfectly. And as the smoke comes in, Spirit keep them honest. And nade goes a bit deep. Na'Vi are running out.
Missed shot for Shiro. He starts around Zontix. He will fall. Dong now lending a helping hand, allows Zontix the open runway, and it's quickly farmed up, quickly cleaned up by Team Spirit. A tie game. Donk has his resurgence in this second half. It is worth its weight in gold to Team Spirit. Team's already on that trophy. They want to continue their epic. This is the last time that Blade is going to be able to speak to his team in this map. Could be the final map for Na'Vi. This is the last chance he has to offer up a solution. The remainder of this semi-final now, Blade is but a passenger, hoping that Na'Vi can keep this series alive.
For long, Spirit shut the door early. Crucial that Donk does not die on this B site either. So he blocks his position. Spirit don't look to make moves here. They instead rely on the foundation of 4 on the A side and Donk as the rock on B. Gotta be careful not to give Wonderful his pick here. Chopper goes for a jiggle. That's a little dangerous.
It's a golden opportunity, but Wonderful knows he won't be given another one of these.
Back to the drawing board here for Na'Vi out middle. The Spirit know that just as well. They're not going to sit behind this smoke forever.
I mean, in a lot of these rounds, when Bit is late lurking long, he's listening attentively to the util, right? And using that to extract info as to where Spirit started on the map. With him still waiting around at the long doors, this feels like it's building to be the A split, and now they've dealt a rough hand to Zontix down in middle. They've gotten that opener they were looking for. Bit still biding his time outside of long, trying to pick the perfect moment to put the squeeze on this A site.
And it's all on Shiro because he's got to watch two positions at the same time.
They blow open the short smoke. They're coming in now. Magic's last line of defense. And he sends them packing. There's Bit finally arriving. But they've got to deal with Magic's inside of this A site. Wonderful will. Trying to combine in this 2v2. It's Donk, it's Chopper, the ones to beat. Donk had that late game resurgence, but as he's getting a new legacy in Na'Vi. Bit as the difference maker has kept us two going. Here to face the brains and the brawn in that 1v2.
And the anchor of last year drags Spirit down under. Can he keep them there? Spirit frustrated, sending it top middle, dangerous. Donk gets the first. No way they're going to get out like that. Spirit, a middle finger, and they depart middle in an instant.
That is a ludicrous call for Spirit to make. That is a Hail Mary of a play. If they lose this round, they're broke. That means Na'Vi have basically won it. So to come through with something that ballsy, a push up into the top of mid.
I mean, both teams' money is completely on the line right now. Even more so for Na'Vi, getting out with a player surviving. And Spirit know that. It might be a map stolen away in the final seconds. Right before Na'Vi's eyes, despite the clutch, despite the comeback from 6-2 down. Spirit's late resurgence may just be here in time. Na'Vi have to do more with less. All they've got is middle. Info.
Yeah, making a great move here. Going to get there just in time to call that long is clear, that this is the B play. Nades available. Smoke broken open, but a missed shot from Shiro. Attention pulled away. Allows Donk, but he's getting Pinsent. Trapped in a corner. Trapped in a box. Donk is iced out. Na'Vi 4v5. Break into that B site. And the game was resting on this round. Spirit concede. They can't attempt this. Na'Vi have got two chances to keep this semi-final going and break the Spirit streak on Dust 2.
It's not every day Donk looks mortal, but he was scared there. He didn't know which way to look. Both sides. Na'Vi trap him. And these kills worth their weight in gold. Can JL finish the job? That volley might do it. Chopper's hurt alive. There's nothing here. Even the orb. Tentative Shiro hanging on by a thread. And Na'Vi have done it. They've dug the grave on Dust 2. Spirit with not a penny to rub together.
This is their best chance. This is where Na'Vi have to do it. And it won't be some big bombastic finish, some decisive dastardly play. They want to win this one. As a team, they want to win it to tactics. They play low and slow to open up this round. They know the limitations that Spirit are working with.
Late long. No one here. Spirit once again try to test the middle with this cat setup. They're gonna pinch together. JL alone holds his own, gets that first, and 4 kills away from a third map in this semi-final. Na'Vi trying to outlast Spirit, kick up the pace towards long, kicking dust in their face. There's one player in the site. That's all Spirit can rely on.
Shiro is out on an island, but Spirit are grouping very, very fast here. They plan on scrapping, they plan on brawling, they want to fight for this site before that bomb is even planted. The boost's been spotted. That is a huge bit of info for Alexi. He knows there's two players in the elevator. Dog with one, Dog with two. Why stop there? Gonna need more from Dog. It comes down to this 1v1. The AWPers set to clash to decide the fate of Dust 2. Is it Wonderful, or is it Shiro in this clutch? Shiro keeps Spirit in it. And this one's going the full 24 rounds. That was the best chance that Na'Vi had to lay this game to rest. To move on to a third map, a chance still to grace that grand final. Now it is an uphill battle. And the 1v1 to decide it all. The silent killer of Shiro. Smokes Wonderful in the head-to-head. And now it's Na'Vi who are broken.
Yeah, that could be a round they live to regret. It gives Spirit the sight of overtime. Two rifles. Per team. The most desperate time in this map, and maybe the most desperate measure. Alexi B looking to walk out mid. Pack play. Shiro here sprays away, and that's a multi-kill. Bomb loose. That might be the beginning of bonus play. Donk does damage. He's going back for more. Spirit don't know when to quit. They swing for the fences. They swing for the win, and they massacre Na'Vi in middle. There is no hope here. There is only overtime on the horizon.
Bomb away from JL. No world he can build back into this. Spirit have it. Right here, right for the taking. All that's left to do is cross that line and take us to overtime, and Magix will send us there.
That round that Na'Vi live to regret. They've got to forget about it. But they were but a kill from a third map in this semi-final. In a map they know they can win. And now we enter into Spirit's domain, overtime on their best map. A 9-win streak on Dust 2 for Team Spirit. It will not get easier. And with overtime comes a bit of freedom. The chance to take risks and get away with it. Spirit are full of that. Think about these aggressive rounds we've seen every now and then where Donk runs up middle. This could be the perfect time for it. Na'Vi get that mid-control.
I feel like the pace has left this game.
It to be.
Na'Vi trying to take it slow, but it's Spirit to bring the fight to them. Flashbang tees up Chopper. Zontix now eyes on middle, and no chance at the trade. Shiro even siphoning players from the ranks of Na'Vi as they try to make this crossing. Emo won't survive the night. It's Wonderful 1v5. Boxed in and now finished off. Spirit picked their moment to get involved, and they choose it carefully. The perfect timing for that push into the upper tunnels.
Yeah, it felt too telegraphed, right? No cat control for Na'Vi. They hadn't really pushed Spirit back from that position. Magix had the new box. They knew the mid to B was coming, and to be fair, when Na'Vi have hit these mid to Bs, they've done them really well. So Spirit know they need to make the first play, the first incision, Chopper pushing up a B, and confirming what Spirit suspect. success in the first round of overtime. Blade and Hallie back on the mic, 30 seconds to get it all out.
Navi certainly have lost their edge. The round's slowing down. Not taking the same amount of space. Blades tried to change that in the timeout. The boys barrel out the long side. JL with the spam will open. Never even saw Chopper to knock him out of the round, but there's still Magics here. Made it into the pit. And Navi ready for this. Util deployed, but Magix is quick to reposition out on an island still. Left fighting all on his lonesome. It's a quick trade for Ema. Shiro now, this is a really forward position. He wanted to play in tandem with Magix. He's not left with many options, trying to get aggressive. Shiro's hung out to dry. Donk and Zontix, 2v4. And Donk is a long way away. Donning the second AWP as well as he makes his move up through CT. Donk on an AWP in this retake. Not something you see every day, but can Donk hit hard? Deal with the devil to get this AWP in the first place, but Donk is run down a bit. Finishes the job. Na'Vi do good on that timeout.
Shiro's been off this AWP for both rounds of overtime. Previous one, they didn't have any AWP. Now it's Donk running it on a solo B. Getting a little uncomfortable for Spirit. Magix is completely hung out to dry. There's no supporting flash. There's no AWP to cover his corner. Spirit trying to reinvent the wheel. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Wonderful at the long spawn. He's going to try this with the AWP. We haven't really seen the AWPs go here. Sails on past. Still, this is more like it for Na'Vi. It's more proactive. They're more involved. They're no longer playing at the mercy of Team Spirit. They're the ones trying to take the initiative on this T side.
Haven't seen many opening attempts from Wonderful really in this map, right? He's occasional mid shots, but he's 0-1 on opening duels. Never really cracked Na'Vi a 5v4. It's been JL, it's been Ima, and Bit. The rifling trio of Na'Vi getting them in these rounds. Magix off angle in the pit. We saw how much Util Na'Vi dedicated last time around. They just go swinging in, and Bit hits a flick to find that 5v4. A requirement to win this round as Na'Vi trap this site. Spirit takes space elsewhere. Flick back for Shiro connects. Now they know the object of Na'Vi's desires.
Smoke broken open by this nade, but no Na'Vi players spotted behind it. They played the timing on this. They wait for all these nades to come out. They know what they're up against, and now they re-smoke the cross. More nades from Spirit. At bare minimum, it's bought them time here. Time for this backstab. Time for Donk to play his hand. Wonderful not looking backwards. Wonderful's not looking. Donk's been delivered a free kill. Now he starts to close the distance. In the back line, it's all about Donk. Quick jiggle, but not sending it too far. Donk keeps the pressure on. Na'Vi answer back as best they can, but constantly looking over their shoulder. Demonic from Donk, trying to give Spirit that edge. And Spirit's Prince of Darkness with a huge round, a defining round in this series. Tees up Team Spirit. 2 rounds at the tail end of that first half of overtime. They are the ones with the advantage. They're the ones in pole position in spite of this round starting off well for Na'Vi. Spirit have faith in Donk and what he brings to the table.
Such a risky early cross for Donk. You know, the whole time Wonderful's considering that flank. He's looking back, he's throwing Util for his team, but Donk just finds the perfect timing, and Na'Vi can never get comfortable. They can never cross into the site. The bomb doesn't make it in. Wonderful making moves, but he's mollied, he's flashed, he's out of there. Spirit never knew. That's the most aggressive move we've seen from a Na'Vi CT side all map. And it comes up with nothing. Spirit's initial success in regulation came on these mid to B hits. They put that fear in Na'Vi early. late long into the AWP that can make all the difference right now.
He has to hit this. No excuse for Wonderful. It's a dry fight. Contact play out alongside. These are the fights you dream of as an AWPer. There is no one here to flash this. Wonderful open sight lines, but it won't connect. There's the opener from Magix. And now the floodgates are open. Spirit charge down the long side. Shiro covers. Don't dare to make up for it. And slowly but surely, Na'Vi are trickling in, but they're trickling into a lost sight, a lost battle. JL left to run away. Bit has been stellar throughout this tournament for Na'Vi. 20 kills deep on Dust 2. And once more, they're asking for Bit to bail them out. Shiro, backstab coming in just to try and add insult to injury, knock these guns out. Na'Vi's so preoccupied with chasing him down, they can't go for this retake. And so Spirit now, they're the ones with chances to close out this game. They are on the edge of these grand finals. And all that's left to do is cross that finish line. And Na'Vi hoping for another overtime.
And that is just a crushing way for that round to crumble down. You feel like Wonderful is perfectly set to hit, but on the stage, struggling in the most important round yet, as Magix hits the most incredible entry kill out long doors. He's really stepped up on the stage, has Magix. We saw it yesterday. We saw it in Shanghai. And deep into the semi-finals, Spirit may just be a cut above Na'Vi. A team I'm never ready to count out of a comeback, of staying in a game like this. But it is just one mistake, one big moment from Donk, one whiff shot, and Spirit are back to back-to-back grand finals here at Katowice. It feels like destiny. Donk's destiny here in the Spodek. 29 kills deep. Na'Vi on their last legs. They were mere moments from nuke. But it may just be what ifs. What could have been. A rivalry Na'Vi drew into question in the group stage, beating Donk at his best. But here where it matters more, here where there's no room for error, no lower brackets, no second chances. Spirit have stood up to the test. Slow and steady yet Wonderful smokes the long side. Spirit make it up cat for free.
Wonderful missed this shot in the prior round. And that's what led to the A site falling apart.
What has Donk got?
It's a sold out Spodek. Trying to give Na'Vi the belief for that final push to try and drag this one into another overtime.
They've got to go through this.
Great timing on the util. Hit that point now where it just comes down to the individuals for Na'Vi. 15 seconds, Donk plays his hand, runs at the front of the pack for Spirit. Magix now plays his hand out the long side. Stab found! Magix putting that pressure on, but the time is up! Emma has stolen it away! There is no way for Spirit to win this! Let down by the clock! As Na'Vi stay in and gifted a miracle! One more round! One more chance! You cannot account for a round like that. That is a gift to Na'Vi. It was one more round. That's all they need.
It felt like it was falling into place, but Spirit are going to have to go all the way. Fake it long, into this late hit. Wonderful, can he find the right position in time? Spirits sit in the silence. As Na'Vi channel this crowd for a final round. Ooh, miss smoke. It's not ideal.
Being betrayed by the clock in the round prior, Spirit expect them to be a bit more explosive in the ending here.
Na'Vi are panicking a little bit. They're running all the way towards this triple B. Spirit are throwing corridor smokes in middle, so it's uncertain where this one's ending, but they have the room to make this A-hit happen. It once again rests on the shoulders of Wonderful. Can he lift Na'Vi up, or will he be their undoing?
That nade on the smoke. Oh my God, Chopper. Chopper is making the wildest
What a
play.
call.
He's gone all the way in a CT. Oh, not again. Wonderful. Drive-by from Magix. As once more Magix bests him in that head-to-head. He's had Wonderful's number every step of the way in these A plays, and now they're not ready for the deep spawn setup. Zontix behind enemy lines, and it might all be over. Na'Vi desperately trying to cling on to this series. But these are the dying breaths. It's all down to the captain, and Spirit have his number. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. When all is said and done, it is only the Spirits left standing. Another grand final for Team Spirit, and a chance for back-to-back trophies in the Spodek.
This head-to-head will live rent-free in Na'Vi's head. They try to exercise their demons one more time on the stage, but today they are possessed. It's Donk, it's Magix, it's big game plays for Team Spirit to take them all the way in the Spodek.
I'm with Zontix right now. Zontix, that was some second map. In your words, talk me through it.
Yeah, game against Natus Vincere on LAN, it's always interesting and almost always close games. It was very tough.
I think just a word about this. Obviously, you're playing here. The audience has been very one-sided. How has that made you and the rest of the Spirit team feel? How has it affected you?
To be honest, it works both sides, because when you cheer for Navi, for example, they have a pressure, and when they start losing rounds, it's more pressure on them and easier for us. So to be honest, it doesn't really matter. It works both sides.
They beat you in the group stages. How much did you want to get even to prove that you do have a besting of them?
To be honest, we choked in group stage because we lost NT4s and we lost like 11-7, I think. And I thought like we are not playing our best game, but we still should have won. And I thought, and my teammates as well thought that, you know, if we will play with our game, we will win them. But you know, we have to be focused on what problems we have. We have to be focused really on our game, because when we are not inside the game, when we're thinking about something outside, it's always terrible against teams like Navi, Vitality, FaZe, against the best teams. You're getting stomped if you're not concentrated enough.
Just one final question. A word for Vitality tomorrow. Grand final. You want to go back-to-back. What do you want to say to them?
Vitality is a great team. Obviously, amazing performance from them. Amazing individual players, like individual skill. And it's going to be an interesting match. They're great team, great players.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll see you through for a second grand final. Thank you very much. Team Spirit!
The booing didn't phase praised them, no pun intended, last year, and it will not this year either. At least if you look at these games. I love that measured answer from Zontix. It does go both ways, and we know how to play with it. We saw Donk also playing with the camera a little bit, being like, I can't hear you, I don't care. And we have to say sovereign, right? Because Na'Vi did fight back again on Dust 2. There were counter punches, but every time Spirit shut the door.
Yeah, you got to give it to Na'Vi for obviously giving us a game, and you got to give it to Spirit for withstanding the pressure. I agree with you, Shocks. It goes both ways. I agree with Zontix as well. It's not like it's a new thing for Spirit either. They tried it before. They've been tested in this arena before. And overall, I think this second map on Dust 2, that was worthy of a grand final. That was worthy of a game between Na'Vi and Spirit. I'm happy we got to see it, and I also do think we saw the better team win. So overall, there's no really arguing. Na'Vi weren't on par today. They weren't as good as in the group stage. In Spirit, they stepped it up a notch.
Oh yeah, absolutely they did. And I mean, it kind of comes to show you like those slim margins, especially when you play each other so much down the stretch, like different timings on flanks towards long. You got to say, if you came in today saying, you know, like thinking that, you know, as so much it's presented and how easy it is to fall into the trap of saying it's the Donk show. Today we had Zontix in the first map. Second map, we had Shiro next to Donk for most of it, but really the highest impact came from Magix down the stretch. You want to talk about overtime? Dry peeking wonderful at the long corner, instant headshot kill, opens things up. 2 rounds later, dry swing off catwalk, instant headshot, boom. There we go. Rounds over. That's overtime, and that's Magix who's delivering those rounds for you. Donk can get some great kills after that, but Magix made everything possible.
I think that's a great call. A couple of nightmares also for Wonderful there as well. And I think what's also interesting to see is that we talked a lot about kind of Blade Alexi, but Hallie and Chopper, and at the right time, going for the aggressive CT move, something the other side did not do. And I think that is something that they will repent, because almost every time they got what they wanted.
Well, let's talk about that in the deeper context, because Hugo pointed it out right when that round was coming in, was that they'd been priming the B splits. Yep. They'd been hitting them with B splits early in regulation, wrecking them, and even a 3-man stack at the B bomb site for Navi's defense and anticipation. And it was a perfectly called round to just fake it up, switch it up, get into CT spawn, and open everything up for you. That's a